you doing, all you beautiful sons of bitches? It's your boy Backseat here, and today we got a special episode today because we got our special guest Hawk back. Say hello, Hawk.
Hello.
Eh, yes, and we also got Noah and Luckpup on board because if there's one thing that unites four randos across the internet, it's Dragon Age. And apparently, guys, did you know that according to Chariot, Dragon Age has always been woke?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
What a
hate that argument
surprise.
so
What a
bad.
surprise.
oh my God, this is yes, yeah. It's like every fucking franchise. I was like, this has always been woke. You people have just been too dumb to understand it. Y'all need your media literacy and shit. But let's just hear what Mr. or Mrs. Chariot, I don't fucking know, and I really don't fucking care either, has to say, shall we?
So,
This is
I do
gonna.
have one thing to say about that. Dragon Age has always been woke. It's amazing that 16 years ago,
Mm.
when the word woke didn't even exist,
right.
something was woke.
Well,
It's
to
People
well,
didn't
amazing.
know about
well,
it,
well,
I
to be
guess.
fair, Hawk, the slang word woke did exist. It just wasn't used as much in popular vernacular as today. Cause Hawk,
The meaning of
Uh,
the word changed over time. It
yeah,
didn't used to mean what it
yeah,
means today.
yeah, like Hawk,
I
no,
miss what it used to mean. Like, you know what's up.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
was I was 15 years old when Dragon Age Origins came out,
Mhm.
and the whole thing of uh, wokeness didn't exist.
No.
It was at best you just be called a silly hippie.
At least
that
it's
that was
pretty
it.
self-imploding.
Because I still remember a time before the Wall Street protest, the Wall Street March.
Occupy Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when everything changed
Mhm.
to become this new woke thing.
Yeah.
And Origins was very not that.
No. No. Uh.
So
Anyway, dude, I guarantee fucking to you that when we actually get into this video, Chariot here is just gonna be all like, well, like, is just gonna fucking confuse the progressivism with the with actual wokeness and shit. But
oh,
whatever.
I'll be honest with you.
Alright.
Origins is just centrist '90s viewpoints.
Mm.
Um, that was like it was such a basic political stuff, as in like both sides
Both sides
are
could agree on
presented.
this.
No, it's just that both sides are presented.
Okay, okay.
Whereas like with wokeness, it's one side is presented.
Yes.
If you,
Right,
if you,
right,
if,
right,
if you know
right.
what I mean.
And if both sides are presented, it's like one of them is obviously gonna be portrayed better. Guess which one? Anyway.
Yeah, I've put this on YouTube comments. That when it comes to obviously Dragon Age being woke, one example of being able to have a gay romance in Origins is not proof of it being woke.
Mhm.
So because there's numerous examples of other things that would get it cancelled today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Huh.
so yeah, I feel that obviously I don't know how old you lot are, everything, but I feel that a lot of this discourse around Dragon Age comes from people who weren't born when the first Dragon Age came out,
I
or
only
were
played
very
Dragon Age
very
2.
young
I only
children.
played Dragon Age 2. I completed the game and I did not like the first 10 minutes of Origins and didn't play it on PS4 when I
Well,
bought it.
Oh,
with these people, they're very rarely actual fans of what they critique, and if they are, it usually just means, oh, they consumed the content for like 30 minutes and found one thing they liked, so that's how it goes.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of fucking this got really fucking bad around Inquisition cuz a lot of fucking newbies who hopped on Inquisition only joined because of the romances. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Like with
Yeah.
Guilty Gear.
anyway.
Oh
let's-
no, it wasn't Origins. It was Inquisition. That's the one I played that I
Okay,
didn't
okay.
like.
All right, okay. Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
It was the third game. It was the okay.
anyway, we've
Yeah.
dilly-dallied enough. Let's get on with it.
Let's go.
They who have put out the people's eyes reproach them of their blindness by John Milton. I have no idea what this quote means or why it's here, though. Anyway.
It's just an
They
attempt
who
to
have put
feel
out the
clever.
people's eyes. It means they're not paying attention. Just play it.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Trying to
Alright.
sound smart.
Hang on, is the music playing?
Also, that sounded like a freaking
No,
Bible
I don't
verse.
want to see this fucking shit.
No. No.
I hate that he
Dragon
started out
Age.
with this.
What?
I hate that he started out with this little compilation. You already know what it's gonna be. It's just
Yeah,
irritating.
already Chariot is poisoning the well with this. It's like a bunch of people fucking complaining, and it's set to silly music. Look at these silly complainers.
Dragon Age, folks.
It's got so many degenerate elements in it, I refuse to play it.
Dragon Age has been gay since 2009. It's not stunning and brave anymore. It's tiresome and hackneyed.
They do have
Yeah.
pronouns
There's a
in the game.
difference
In the game,
between gay and woke, and
What
it's
the
the
fuck is it
progressives
gay?
that
It's a
don't
fucking
understand
video
that.
game.
It's
People,
basically.
people conflate, as I said, a gay romance option with it always being gay. That's
yeah.
it.
Oh, it's
Yes.
so stupid.
Because it's
No
the woke
offense, 'cause
people that do this.
Go on, sorry. Oh,
Oh no,
Go
I was
on.
saying the
Oh,
woke
me
people
or
are
who?
the ones
Okay,
who
okay.
are always conflating it these days.
yeah. Because I've recently gone through the first 3 games with my missus,
Mm.
and unless you go out of your way to find it, Origins can
Yeah.
be played as an incredibly straight game.
Yeah.
I mean, I played Dragon
Um,
Age 2, and I freaking loved that Dragon Age 2 when I played it. It was a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Age 2 can be played. I mean, there's what you have in Dragon Age 2. What is it? Apart from Anders and Carl, there's
Right.
very little
It was a good game.
outside of prostitutes and degenerate characters that you class as they're gay.
Yeah.
And going to Origins, Zevran's the gay love interest, but
Gay
if you've
male
already
at
got
least.
gay male at least, yeah, but you can go through that entire game and never realize he's gay. As in, like, sleeps with men as an option because he talks about all his sleeping with women.
Yeah.
And it works. And same with like Isabella in Dragon Age 2. Even though she's bi and sleeps with anything, if you don't play as a woman, 99.999% of the talk she has about sexual interactions are with men. So you've really got to, and this is the point. If you don't go looking for it, you can easily not see it. Whereas in Veilguard, it's front and center.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes, it was front
So
and
to say
center.
it's-
It was front and center in the game itself, and it was front and center in the marketing campaign. Yes.
also this pause screen is quite interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone watched the Smudcast about, was it Corinne Bush?
Corinne Bush. Yeah.
But did you see what her CV looks like?
Or you mean her resume? No. Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
know what her resume is. She's mainly done shit for The Sims in it.
Yeah, no, as in it's just The Sims, and then it's nothing until she transitions, and then she
then it's
becomes director of
everything.
Veilguard.
Oh my,
Funny
yeah.
how that works.
That's absolutely
Yeah,
pathetic.
it's so blatant that the only reason he got that position is because he transitioned.
Yeah. Fucking
But anyway, I want to
pathetic.
see what this person is. But yeah, to conflate Dragon Age as being gay always comes down to one singular thing: you could have a gay romance
Yes.
in Origins. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Director is literally a jump scare. Sorry about that.
Putting actual transgender ideology in the game.
If it's all about representation, seeing yourself in the game, scars and all, well, there's a little problem with that because you're not an elf.
I would have as equal an objection if all of a sudden I was playing Mario and he decided to stop and talk about his Catholic faith as an Italian.
They don't want you to be able to escape this agenda no matter what, and including things like a goddamn Kunari of all races. Telling you that they're non-binary is so ridiculous, because the Kunari are a tribal people who value strength and honor above all other things.
It would be just as lore-breaking in a world where you can change your gender with magic and you can heal wounds with healing magic, for you to decide to opt to chop off your titties and have trans surgery scars.
Queerified Kunari, which used to look really cool in past Dragon Age iterations, Kunari were like really cool looking. And now they just look trunified.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Dragon Age series creator David Gator has recently opted to respond to some of these complaints by remarking how the usual suspects are upset at how
this did
woke
so
new
much
Dragon
damage
Age
to
is,
this game
an apparent
leading
sudden
up
and
to it.
unexpected development in the
You got the fucking the guy who basically made the damn series basically telling off his customers like that. This alone doomed the game so fucking much.
It's
fucking
it's so
It's almost
funny.
like
Gator.
the woke
How is it an unexpected development?
offline,
How
but
is
they
it
don't
sudden?
actually buy the stuff.
Block Pub, what'd you say? I didn't hear that.
I said that it's almost like these woke people, they are a huge majority online when it comes to basically just yapping, but they're not buying stuff.
Yes. They're a vocal minority, yes. IRL.
series. The industry veteran called the people who spread the sentiment effing tourists in a recent Blue Sky.
I love that. Hold on, I love that. You're a tourist. Yeah, I've just told you that I've been a fan of this franchise for literally half my life. But I'm the tourist compared to the blue-haired 14-year-old who's only ever seen Tumblr posts of Dragon Age.
Or GMVs of Solavelin. Jesus H. Christ.
Yeah,
in a recent
it's funny. These people, they try to basically take the words of what they would consider the other side, like tourist, and flip it around, but they never ever use it correctly. It just sounds cringe.
No.
I post.
Oh god, they're playing lo-fi music. I hate lo-fi music.
You know, if you're gonna start your video about Dragon Age being woke, right?
Recently,
We've already wasted 2 minutes, been nothing but a fucking circle jerk.
Do not ever show one of the single worst scenes of Dragon Age. This scene right here, the fact that this scene literally destroys 2 games worth of plot with a nuclear explosion.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I've never seen it.
Also,
Tell me more.
this is another thing. Everyone who says Dragon Age is woke and always has been woke always uses Inquisition as the starting point of their argument. The 3rd game in a series.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he'll bring it up. They'll bring it up. Whatever. There's a codex entry called Sexuality in Thedas, which says everything about how gay being gay is perfectly acceptable. Blah blah blah. There's trans people. There's non-binary people. That blah blah blah. If you look in Dragon Age Origins, Awakening, and Dragon Age 2, that codex entry doesn't exist. It's a literal retcon in Inquisition, created to allow them to insert woke propaganda, because 2014 is obviously when it all really started kicking off with wokeness.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy.
I mean,
your stuff.
I've I've actually got all the Dragon Age codexes downloaded, so I can just quickly flick through them. It's not there in Origins, Awakening, or 2 at all.
How suspicious. Anyway.
Also, that whole can I have a word for like women who want to be men and all this sort of stuff? But yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
in
Yeah, that never
previous
happened.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hawk, that's why we brought you on here. Anyway.
Yeah.
Recently, the formerly announced Dragon Age Dreadwolf was rebranded as Dragon Age the Veilguard, and given the official release of October 31st, 2024.
Also, Dreadwolf was a way fucking better subtitle. Just saying.
If you've been following me
yeah.
on Twitch for long enough, you'll likely know I'm a big fan of the Dragon Age games and recently finished uploading cuts of my old 2020 and 2021 playthroughs of those games to my second channel. Be warned, the audio capture and editing on those is even rougher, but it took me this long to get them all up, because when I accidentally trashed my old PC, I had to rescue and recover a bunch of my files off of it. And there was something in the range of weeks and weeks worth of video game stream VODs on there, so naturally getting all that Elder Scrolls and Dragon Age stuff off there took a lot of time. I've gotten up to a lot of different...
What, Luck Pup?
I said that may as well be CIA torture tapes.
different types of content creation since
I'm just laughing at all these level 1s he's got.
Oh my god, you're right. Hang on. Let me go back a bit. So we got one.
So naturally getting all that Elder Scrolls and Dragon Age stuff off there took a lot of time.
Exactly what
only one of them isn't level 1. What the fuck?
Level 27.
Yeah.
27. Wow.
I've gotten up to a lot of
taking
different
that out with a video.
types of content
Already you're looking pretty like an authentic player here, Chariot.
creation since the era of streaming Oblivion and Dragon Age Inquisition straight from my Xbox. And while I like to think I've come a long way, fantasy writing and gaming are such huge passions of mine that they've never faded. You might also know, if you're a patron of mine, that I've been working on videos about different elements of the Dragon Age series for half a year now. And those videos have included content about just how much depth this series gives to gay relationships. Calling Dragon Age one of the gayest fantasy RPGs on the market would be both an overgeneralization and an understatement. No game series has given quite as much care to LGBT identities as this one.
Oh, give me a fucking break with that. Oh,
You know,
Christ.
Again, like I say, with the relationship things, the ability to have one singular gay romance in a game does not mean it's like an incredibly gay
I'm gonna
game.
be honest, guys. I've never played anything except for Dragon Age 2, and I beat it, but I played like 10 minutes of Inquisition, like I said. Did not like it, did not get into the story, couldn't stand it, but I never really got into it, so I don't know anything about this, but I didn't see a whole lot of that in Dragon Age 2, or at least I didn't realize if I did when I was young, because I was like a teenager then.
Right, I'm now gonna think of
Yeah, you're gonna help me out here.
gay characters and origins. So you've got Zevran,
Yeah.
but that's only if you yourself go through the romance. And say for some reason they go, oh well, it still counts. So Zevran is an assassin who was bought as a child and most likely was sexually abused. So that's nothing great. Leonia is given as a lesbian, but we don't find out until much later on that she was in a relationship with that Marjolaine or something like that. At which point she was also abused. You're like, right, okay.
Marjolaine is fucking evil, bro. Not even funny.
Yeah. So that's two out of the out of all of the gay romance options were abused sexually. That's okay. That's great. I'm now trying to think of more gay characters.
That was it for Origins.
That's it for Origins. Dragon Age 2.
We had Anders, whose life sucks.
Anders, but that's a retcon because in Awakenings he was a womanizer. And then you've got...
Well, I mean, to be fair, Anders can be romanced by a woman, so anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah, Fenris, his life sucked.
He was raped.
Yeah.
Also, he shows no inclination towards being actually gay, unless you go out of your way to romance him as a man. So you could easily play the game thinking he was straight. only been like abused.
Then you got
You have
then you got Meryl. Her life doesn't suck until she gets to Kirkwall.
and if you do not go out of your way to romance her as a woman, she will come across as straight. There's nothing that says she's actually interested in women.
And then Isabella.
Yeah. Isabella, again, apart from the romance with a woman, I think there's possibly one instance where she mentions sleeping with a woman, I think, if that. The vast majority of the time she's talking about sleeping with men, so again, unless you happen to get that conversation pop up, you could go through it thinking she's just a whore for men.
And Isabella's life
then-
doesn't really suck, so we got like
Yeah.
two characters whose lives did suck, and we haven't even
Yeah.
gotten Inquisition yet. So the Inquisition, I want
Hold on. I'm not even finished with Dragon Age 2
Oh, my bad,
because
Hog, my bad, Hog.
there is an elven prostitute who you meet in the quest line, the first sacrifice, who you can sleep with as a man, but that's obviously a prostitute and everything like that. And then there's also a transvestite prostitute which is like a woman's body but a clear man's voice, which is played as a joke.
Okay.
So right, that's a case of
Right,
Inquisition,
right.
which is where all the woke stuff comes in. Oh, yeah, there's gay people abound, which is ironic, considering that's the first one where wokeness has kicked in.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway.
So this entire gay game is only gay come Inquisition.
Yeah.
Right.
And also it's like it has protected the most gay people. It's like, bruh, most of the gay characters in this game's lives suck. So, anyway.
With both moving emotional scenes and respectful, humanizing characterization to spare across multiple games and books. The first game, Dragon Age Origins, effectively had 2 locked straight characters and 2 bisexual characters, romanceable by characters of any gender. The second game exclusively featured bisexual romance options, but the third game had...
Yeah, and the reason why 2's romances were exclusively bi was because Bioware was on a strict time limit, and they simply did not have the time to program the characters to be specific. You know what I'm saying? It's like they couldn't have one straight guy, one straight girl, a bi guy, and a bi girl the way Origins did. They just did not have the time to program all that. You guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is something that I would like to note. A lot of games I've noticed now, I'm not talking about this series, but other series, particular a lot of ones from Japan I've seen, they do just allow your character to have a romance option with a character of the same gender, and nobody over there would really call those games woke because it does come down to what is the developer intent. A lot of people, they just simply want these options. So that's basically it. And there's a reason that a lot of times there's only one option. Like in Fire Emblem games, there's often a homosexual option for each gender, but only one. So it's kind of funny. It's like the progressives can't understand allowing something like that and being woke. Developers' intent is really what they're missing here, not just the actual content.
Yeah. Anyway.
I agree with that.
Bisexual romance options, straight locked options, and for the first time, all the way back in 2014, locked homosexual characters. This will all be and has all been the subject of a number of other videos, as there's just so much to dig into in this series. But these games have always represented the willingness of the developers to listen and accommodate people in their audience who might not have been listened to or accommodated in that way in the past.
In other words, like they basically have to bend the knee to the mob, the woke ass mob, the rainbow mafia.
Also, can I be one of the first, maybe if not the first, to recognize that the game is not a fucking sex game. It is not an H game or a hentai, whatever the fuck. It's a fucking video game.
It's a fantasy RPG. Yes.
It's a fantasy RPG. It happens to have some characters with small minuscule amounts of bi or gay tendencies, but don't actually actively make anything about it to do with the story. It has nothing to do with the game. It's just to appeal to people and who might be bi/gay, but it's not a big deal because they don't make a big deal out of it until Inquisition.
Yeah.
Not a romance simulator,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is what Veil God tried to be.
Yeah.
Right.
And even
Right.
then, not everyone was pleased with Inquisition, because I
Mhm.
remember way back in the Gap that there were a lot of fucking lesbian freakazoids, not normal lesbians, just the lesbian freakazoids, who really wanted to romance Cassandra, but they couldn't.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
anyway.
Individual
I find it
characters
funny
have all...
that of the romance options and everything, and this is like what my missus says.
Mm-hmm.
They're all incredibly ugly in Inquisition.
Yeah.
Really, really ugly. She was
Yeah.
like, she went, "Oh, I'm playing as a guy, but I just want to have a straight romance." I went, "Oh, you got Josephina Cassandra," and she went, "Oh, all right. Is there anyone else?" I was
If I
like,
wanted to talk about the gayness or straightness of a game, I would go on Rule 34. I wouldn't go to the game.
Yes.
"Yeah."
Individual characters have always had plot-relevant gay storylines, with the most pronounced of these being Anders, but of course other characters like Zevran and Dorian also contribute to just how much depth this series has. For what it's worth, the books are like this as well. David Gator's The Calling, published in 2009, has a major conflict in the middle of its narrative centered around two gay Grey Wardens and their relationship.
By the way, has anyone read any of the novels? Because I haven't.
Books are terrible.
I haven't read
Books,
them.
the books are terrible, Hawk.
Are they
Yeah,
really?
they're just they add so little to anything, and it's almost like every book is meant to be leading up to the next game, and it's something big, and then it just gets a couple of lines, and then you realise nothing matters. Absolutely nothing in these books matter.
Well, Hawk, in defense of the books not mattering, it's because, in a way, they can't matter. Now, Hawk, let me, what?
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying that most of the Dragon Age books, in regards to the series, are like that. That Mass Effect deception.
Yeah.
Which they
They're
wanted
all
to.
like that. Oh, they're all that bad?
Yeah, it just means yeah. This it's almost like they take place in a completely different universe.
Oh God. Yeah, because the reason why I say that they can't is because of this phenomenon that we in the business call loose cannon. Now, basically, what loose cannon is that it's basically in regards to specifically what we're talking about. Most video games and movies that also have comic book spin-offs, usually the comic book spin-offs are usually not allowed to intrude on the plots of the games or the movies. And this, like the DC animated universe, Batman the animated series, they have their own fucking comic book spin-offs. They can't interfere with the shows. Same thing with the Mass Effect games, the Assassin's Creed games, the Halo games, the Alien and Predator movies, and even the old Star Wars novels. They all can't interfere with the actual movies and comics they're spin-offs of. Now, the reason they do this is because it would just frustrate people who don't want to cross mediums to enjoy the story, so they're written to be as self-contained as possible. Plus, even then, there's no guarantee that customers of the original will even know about or read them to begin with. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's pretty much why.
I understand that, but it's one of those things where if you bring them up as oh well, in one story there's two gay Grey Wardens, just know that the games don't even recognize it.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
mean, hell, there's an animated movie about Cassandra.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even get mentioned apart from a slight offhanded comment.
Yeah. Anyway.
Patrick Weeks' The Masked Empire, published in 2014, published in 2009, has a major conflict in the middle of its narrative centered around two gay Grey Wardens and their relationship. Patrick Weeks' The Masked Empire...
Chariot, shame on you. Don't you know that Patrick Weeks is not binary? You're supposed to call him Trick now. Shame on you, Chariot. Yes, really. Yes.
I also like the fact that, once again, it's this really gay series. They've mentioned something from 2014.
Yeah.
Again, not the same year as it started. 2014, the year when the wokeness started getting into BioWare. Oh yeah, that's when. So I know where this person's thought of Dragon Age begins.
Yes. Anyway.
Published in 2014, similarly features a prominent gay relationship and even opens with an acknowledgement of how the LGBTQ fans of the series have contributed to it, and how important their feedback has been. In a world where the place of LGBT people hasn't always been certain or safe, fandom can and often does fulfill that role for some people. We'll dig into that a bit more later, but for now,
a lot of this is very childish, honestly.
Yes.
The role fandom has, and it's not a good thing.
To talk about the Veilguard.
Yeah.
I will link the release date trailer below so you can watch it with your own eyes and evaluate it for yourself. But I'm planning this video out such that it will go live around the time when the game comes out, which obviously requires writing it beforehand. Naturally, I feel the need to give some pre-release thoughts about what we know so far, but I'm withholding final judgment until I play the actual game myself.
Crap.
I've heard people for years tell me that Dragon Age 2 is complete garbage and Dragon Age Inquisition isn't much better, but honestly, DA2 isn't that bad, and Inquisition is my favorite game in the series.
Oh, that just explains everything then.
Yeah,
oh, that's fantastic.
Fucking great.
That's great. Now we know why.
We can all go home now, guys. No, just kidding. We still got a video.
We're done. Video's over.
Yep.
We're done.
Yep.
Yeah,
if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. No, I'm just kidding.
I cannot believe I'm gonna. Oh, this always happens. Always happens. Everyone who ever calls Dragon Age gay goes, well, Inquisition, and I'm like, oh, fuck off.
Yes.
Just
It wasn't like that before.
It's
So I don't really go by what other people say. You should look into these sorts of things for yourself and make your own determinations, you know?
Why do I get the feeling that Chariot really just wants us to believe him or her or them or whatever the hell and just accept it from, like, whatever leftist drivel he spews?
Absolutely. He's just trying to sound smart and moderate, but it's just a ploy and it's obvious.
No.
Don't let YouTubers spoon
how you
feed
could
you.
ever say that Inquisition was the best game.
Oh, hang on. He's talking about
I
YouTubers.
played it for 10 minutes. I bought it for $60 and didn't want it.
Oh my god.
And I wasted my money.
You got some of it
Right,
back though, right?
No, I bought it digitally on PlayStation. I didn't get it back.
Oh, no.
I know. It was a digital PlayStation 4 purchase. It was one of the first games that ever came out on the system.
Hawk, what were you gonna say?
Mrs. Hawk. Yeah, Mrs. Hawk is not really a gamer, right? She's played a few Assassin's Creed games back in the day.
Alright.
Okay.
Right? She
good ones?
thinks Dragon... what, pardon?
The good ones?
The original ones, like
good,
2, and like Broad and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, good. Those are good, yeah.
She thinks Dragon Age Origins is one of the best things she's ever interacted with.
Really?
She loved it. She thought it was a fantastic. She couldn't believe how great it was.
Your wife has
Then
taste,
she really.
Hawk.
Then we played Awakenings, and she loved that. She loved the fact that you could continue as the Warden, and she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so into this story. I want to see where it goes and everything."
Yeah.
Obviously, I explained Dragon Age 2 doesn't follow it. She wasn't that into Dragon Age 2 to begin with, but slowly she enjoyed the characters, and she really liked Hawk. Being able to create his personality and stuff. And by the end of it, she was like, well, I know this is obviously building up to something, and we'll see how it goes in the next game and everything like that. She goes, it wasn't great. Origins is still the best. We played Inquisition. She hated every single second of it, apart from when Hawk turned up in the game, at which point she went, I really wish I was still playing as our old character. She hated everything. She literally said, I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm like, no, we've got to get through it. And she's like, I don't care. I don't care about anybody. I hate
Quality
everybody.
is disappearing. Quality games are disappearing now. It sucks.
But can you imagine that? Somebody who has no interactions with any games, as you play through the series, slowly goes from this is fantastic to I no longer want to do anything with this.
It's like
I want no
fucking
part of it.
it's like fucking Toy Story. Like, I don't want to play with you anymore. It's like literally that.
She went, Inquisition was so boring, and it's just war. It's just the war table game.
Yeah, yeah.
And
One of the biggest
I was
problems
like, oh,
with
all right.
modern
And then she
games
says, also, it looks slimy and horrible, and everything just looks wet.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
YouTubers spoon feed.
Look, pup, you wanted to say something a little bit?
I was just saying that's one of the biggest problems with modern games, especially from a long-lasting series. They just get boring.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Anyways, Chariot's about to talk about YouTubers now. What is it? What has he got?
You know, don't let YouTubers spoon feed you all your opinions.
Instead, let me spoon feed your opinions for you instead of those slimy right-wingers, alt-right maggots, whatever the hell.
With an open mind and some time for reflection, given I don't have a good gaming PC or next-gen console, which is also why I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet to my endless immiseration, I do have a few thoughts on the Veilguard. The first thing to note is that it's almost impossible for this game to live up to its original hype in concept. The Trespasser DLC for Inquisition was just such a big deal, and the lore implications of this game are so massive that I cannot stress enough the degree to which this is a load-bearing release for the series, which undoubtedly will need to spread some of its story out
Hey, you were
to
gonna be
DLCs.
disappointed.
Oh, you are gonna be so disappointed. Oh.
I love hearing people go, and this is something that always annoys me about with BioWare. They cannot do overarching plots.
Yes.
At all. They just cannot do it.
Yeah. You know, Hawk,
They've built all that up in Trespassers, and none of that matters.
the reason why they suck at overarching plots is because they don't plan in advance. That's pretty much why.
It's not even that. The one story they said they were planning in advance, Mass Effect, they still couldn't do it.
Yes.
They still were last minute writing stuff.
Yes.
They have no way. They do not know how to complete a story.
Yes.
It is constantly create a game, finish on a cliffhanger, ignore cliffhanger, restart from square one, end on cliffhanger, repeat and repeat and repeat. It's why in Veilguard everything is the ancient elves, and
elves did
they just they did everything.
The elves did
not just no, they did everything.
They did everything.
The Blight, Darkspawn, the Fade, all created by the ancient elves. That's it.
Everything else is a lie. The Chantry's a lie. Fucking.
Everything. Corypheus is a lie. The old gods were lies. I mean,
the cake is a lie. Everything's just
Cake
fake.
is a lie,
and if
yeah.
if it's true, it's because the elves did it. It's like
archdemons.
Yeah.
The ancient elves did them.
Yeah.
You know when you're like that. Okay, so everything's all connected to not just all the ancient elves. A few specific ancient elves.
Next thing you know, they're gonna reveal that important characters of different races were elves all along. It's like,
oh, they say Andraste was an elf.
Oh god.
Andraste was supposedly Mythal.
Dragon Age is so boned.
No, seriously, everything is the ancient elves. Every single question or mystery is answered in Veilguard as the ancient elves did it.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's
that on top of the fact that Veilguard actually destroys the entire world.
Literally, whole fucking countries are just wiped off the scoreboard. Ferelden, gone. Orlais, gone. Orzammar,
Orzammar is
gone. The Free Marches, gone. And Tiva and Ravane are probably gone too, or at least most of them. Pretty much everywhere except Tevinter is gone.
No, even Tevinter's gone.
Yeah, even Tevinter's
It's literally
gone. Literally.
the only survivors are Rook and his merry band of trans people.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh fuck.
And then they think, and then like these people thought that we'd be interested in the executors across the ocean.
Yeah, complete ass pull of the Illuminati. Yeah, sure.
They've backtracked on that. The executors controlling everything now.
Oh yeah. What they say instead? What are they saying now?
Oh, it's not. It's based on your interpretation of whether you think that the executors actually controlled like low games. I know you that's what you wanted.
Oh, fuck.
They wanted it to be art.
Yeah. It's the whole artistic integrity argument from Mass Effect 3 just rolled into a new package.
Yeah, it's just the worst.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
I'm starting to realise I'm 30 years old and I'm going through the exact same arguments as when I was like 18 years old with stuff. I'm not listening to this anymore.
So now instead of just the Evanuris did everything, now we have the executors did everything. So now we have two convenient villain groups for that we can just have Dragon Age 5, 6, 7, and 8 just be centered all around. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
those games
yeah, it's like, well, we've destroyed everything in Phaedus, so let's move to this other continent. It's like, why? No one cares.
Yeah. It's like
I'm so glad that this game has tanked so badly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
I cannot.
Doesn't deserve.
I don't want to get too. I don't want to get too off topic, Hawk. But like making Veilguard a soft reboot was such a fucking mistake. Cause the only people who would, well, first of all, it's like Alright, so the whole fucking reason you'd even make a soft reboot is to continue the story while also allowing a jumping on point for new people, right? Making Veilguard of all games the soft reboot is a bad fucking choice because everyone knew going into this game that Solus was going to be the main bad guy, and you're not going to care about Solus unless you played Inquisition, and even then.
Oh, I never played it.
Yeah, okay. Even then, you're only gonna care. So even then, the only reason you ever care about Solus is if you played the previous games, and it's like. And so it's like, and a bunch of other little reasons I could go over, but I don't want to kill too much time. They should have saved the soft reboot shit for a potential Dragon Age 5, if this game did well. But no, instead, No, and I get it. It's like, oh, well, the fucking keep system was getting old. Well, that's BioWare's fault for not fixing their fucking engine. And not fixing it up. And even if they couldn't fix it up, like, it was beyond repair. 3 fucking choices is not fucking enough.
No, not at all. And the thing is, with them only doing those 3 choices, it now gives the actual fans and also any future developers the ability to make Veilguard not canon.
Yeah.
So they've actually wrote themselves into a little bit of a corner here by allowing their pride and joy, what they wanted the Dragon Age series to be. People are able to like remove it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, another company could buy the Dragon Age IP, say we're developing a sequel to Inquisition, and there's nothing that BioWare could do about it because Veilguard has so little to do with Inquisition.
Yeah, dude, yeah, and even then, it's like, yeah, so even despite the fact that it's all like, even despite the fact that it's trying to, the Veilguard has such a paradoxical relationship with the continuity of its previous 3 entries. You know what it kind of reminds me of, Hawk? Yeah, Hawk, you ever heard of, you guys ever heard of Beast Machines? The sequel to Beast Wars? Okay.
I've heard of that,
Yeah, so basically, Beast Machines was made it was made in concept to be like, oh, you can watch this show without watching Beast Wars. We made it as standalone as possible, and it's like so you could just hop on into it if you missed Beast Wars. But even if you do, it's still kind of asking the audience to have seen Beast Wars and still building off his shit established there. While at the same time, it really does want to be a new chapter for newcomers to hop on board with. It's that same paradoxical relationship with its own continuity. But yeah, I've rambled on about this. I just think making this shit is what?
It's the same way that every Mass Effect game was to bring
Oh my
in
god,
new
you're
players
right.
Yeah.
to the point where it like
BioWare
I've
just
had
doesn't make good things anymore.
No, but BioWare don't make good things anymore.
Not
But
anymore, no.
it's the point of they're so desperate for brand new players
Yeah.
that it hinders their storytelling ability.
And it drives away
I
their
shouldn't-
older
EA's
players.
fault.
Yeah,
EA's
they shouldn't care about attracting new players to the third game in a series.
The fourth in
What they
this
should be
case.
interested in is, well, yeah, but like say with Mass Effect 3, I always remember because I've still got the original Xbox 360 case, and it goes the perfect jumping on point for new players. How's the third? That's like saying, oh, if you want to watch Lord of the Rings, watch Return of the King first.
You know, like, say what you will about Andromeda, but at least Andromeda, like, at least they knew that, okay, Andromeda, this is a good enough jumping on point. It's away from the Milky Way. The Shepherd saga is over. So it's like, this is a good new chapter for the series. At least they realized that there. Veilguard, they made a fucking mistake with that. They made a fucking mistake there. Anyway, back to the fucking video.
These are sequels. The whole conflict with Solus, the Elven gods, the Old Gods, the Blights, and everything tying them all together is probably the most massive content drop in the history of the series. It's too big to be resolved in one game, and I wouldn't expect it to be. There are a couple positives, depending on your perspective.
I mean, it kind of did, but it destroyed everything.
The plot is too big to be resolved in one game.
What the
This
hell?
This isn't a 30-minute
Bullshit.
TV program. This could easily be an 80-hour game. What do you mean it's too big to be resolved?
Oh my god. Oh yeah, and Hawk, I also just remembered. Also, back to the point earlier. It's like point earlier where you said it's like they've written themselves in the corner. They can't make any new games. Well, not only that, but with them completely destroying the entirety of the South, they've just dropped and refusing to go back there because player choice. They want to respect that shit, sure. It's like they've completely left themselves without any narrative resources to work with down there. So it's like Ferelden's dead, so chances are Alistair is dead, Leliana's dead, fucking Zevran's dead. Damn near everyone from Origins 2 and Inquisition is dead, aside from Morgan and Isabella. So yeah. Even if they were to bring anyone else from those 3 games back, it's gonna look like a really big ass pull that they survived fucking multiple countries getting wiped off the map. Anyway, what were you saying, Hawk?
No, I just find it funny that he's now saying, whatever this Chariot is, that the plot's too big to be resolved in one game. Yeah. And I'm like, no, the thing about games is you can take as long as you want with the story.
Yes.
You're not restricted to a time frame, like say a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
A game could take as long as you want.
I think what Chariot's referring to are like memory limitations, but even then it's like if it's memory limitations, just take out some optional side quests and crap. So it's like
it's not even that. You can write whatever you want. Lines of dialogue don't affect memory.
Yes. Anyway, moving on.
sound design and voice acting that have been teased so far seem to come across as pretty solid advancements of what we've gotten previously. Inquisition was another high point in that regard for me personally. I just love the crinkly noises that the mark and the riffs make when they spark and ripple. More of that looks like a good sign. I'm also a big fan of some of the returning characters that have been teased,
Hold on,
as well
just
as
press pause. I like the way that the mark and the riffs made like a ripple thing. Wow, that's so basic.
Top-notch
Go back
critique.
to it again. Yeah, go back to it again. I want to see.
He's basically complimenting the audio.
I'm also a big fan of some of the returning characters that have been teased, as well as the location of the game.
Yeah, all
to
two
venture.
of them.
If you haven't seen the Netflix series Dragon Age Absolution, I recommend checking it out as a
it's shit.
good teaser for the setting.
What is Absolution?
It's basically a bunch of idiots go on a heist.
Yeah, Netflix moment.
Ugh.
And yet another great example of tasteful gay relationships in the series.
Ugh.
I'm also way less harsh on the graphics.
Tasteful, like, what was so not tasteful?
Yeah, define tasteful.
Than other people seem to be.
Can't.
The lighting looks way more dramatic and dynamic than anything we've
Oh wow, the lighting is dynamic. It's like, look, wow, fucking green.
gotten so far, and the hair and cloth physics have come an extremely long way from what you'll see even in this Inquisition footage. My only gripe is that the
Other games do cloth and hair better.
character designs look a little smooth in places, like the foreheads of the Kunari.
Hold on, pause. One thing that really pisses me off is they talk about the fucking hair in this game, right? But it moves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They had moving hair in Dragon Age 2.
Yeah. Yeah, because
It's
like
not from-
Aveline's little ponytail, yeah.
And even Hawk's whole hair moves.
Yeah.
All right, it's not as like great, but
Yeah,
I
Bethany's
just think
hair moves.
I just think you had that technology in 2011.
Yes.
We shouldn't be celebrating it 14 years
Chariot
later.
is pulling a fucking like what EA does with all the fucking bad games. They take features out, then a couple, like 5 to 6 games later, they add them back in, saying, oh look, it's a new feature. They're pulling an EA Madden. Anyway.
It's not like it's worse than the old games. I've always been more of an I want better games with worse graphics and I'm not kidding kind of person, but that's not to say that I don't appreciate improved graphics. I just wish my older hardware could run it. Time to seriously think about how I'm gonna upgrade, I suppose. On the flip side, there are a few potential negatives. The first, and for me only genuinely truly concerning issue, is the lack of save imports. Every time I look at statements from the developers, I get severe mixed messages about what exactly the world state is going to entail, and the updates to the Dragon Age Keep, the online webpage that allows players to customize the events of the world of Thetis, haven't helped my confusion. Every time I hear other creators try to explain it, they also seem to iterate on some of the mixed messages. I don't know, I guess I just wish BioWare was more clear with how they presented their vision for the series. I'll know by this weekend when I try the game out. The Dragon Age Keep has been useful for players to set up their playthroughs for the events of each game to fit their previous decisions, and I wonder if maybe the Veilguard isn't trying for a slightly more isolated story before the plot of its DLC or sequel takes things back to what's going on in the rest of the world. That might make sense, since we've never
I just
been
love this
to
whole
Tevinter.
thing of he's trying to say, oh, maybe the DLC or the future sequel
no
will
DLC
explain
coming.
things a bit better. I'm like, oh man, you've got you're gonna be so disappointed with this.
Yes. How old is this video again? It's fucking 2 months old, so it's a bit old. Anyway.
And it seems the game uses prompts so the player can fill in the blanks and the story can proceed. Dragon Age 2's custom world state did something similar, or at least it did so as an option, so it's not totally out of the question for BioWare.
I don't remember 2 doing that.
2 had 3 default world states.
Yeah, 2 had 3 default world states, and then you could import your own from Origins. Yeah. Anyway.
And Inquisition has 1 default world state.
Yeah.
But you could import your your world states in. And then obviously Veilguard has you pick 3. No one knows what the default world state is for Veilguard.
Yeah.
because they mentioned very little of anything.
Yes. You know, I would honestly respect BioWare a lot more if they actually actually said, okay, this is the default world state going forward. We're sorry if you pick differently. We're sorry if you're not happy with the choices we're making, but this is it going forward. This person's the divine. This person drank from the well of sorrows. Yada yada yada. I would have been happy with if they just did that, because it shows that they at least have some balls and are willing to commit to shit. But no, of course they pussyfooted out it, and of course it's like what characters we do have coming back, they're just they don't bring it up at all. It's like, why isn't Varric bringing up any other members of the Inquisition? Why isn't he bringing up Hawk, his not you Hawk, but why isn't he bringing up Hawk, his best friend, who's possibly dead by now? What characters who should be talked about? Why isn't Morrigan bringing up where's Chiron, her fucking child that she may have had? Where is all this shit? Why isn't Isabella talking about Meryl, her best friend? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that doesn't really matter as much as what you just said.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you look at there were three options in the world state.
Yeah.
Just know that the only reason they had the who did you romance even as an option is because Solus was a romance option in the previous game, and that's all they're actually really caring about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason that option's even there, because they wanted people to choose Solus.
Yeah.
Because it adds a few extra lines.
And if you romance anyone else, you get one fucking line. Great.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I suppose we'll see. Other players seem more hesitant than I am about the combat changes. I do still hope party-centric combat is core to the gameplay loop, but I know BioWare has been steering the series.
The combat is mind-numbingly boring and easy.
Every single class fights the exact same way. To the point they gave mages daggers so they could have melee. What's the point of having different classes if they all just have weapons the exact same? What's the point?
Series towards a more action.
Oh well, in Origins, you could play as a fucking warrior who used daggers and who used a bow. Well, that's because in Origins they didn't have the game design down pat yet.
Yeah, but also it's like the mages had to learn an ancient elven ritual.
Yes.
To gain access to melee.
Yeah.
That wasn't an option in Dragon Age 2 because obviously Hawk has no access to it.
Yeah.
But using daggers, it's okay, that's fine. But there were still differences between each class. There's no difference. Each class has the exact same stuff.
Yeah.
And every single gameplay video that I've seen, regardless of what class they have, always descends into the exact same crazy melee.
Yeah.
And there's no tactics to the game.
Nope.
At all, because you can't swap characters around like you could in the other previous games. So, hey,
RPG style for some time, so I'm not surprised. Basically, every release has been more action-oriented, and while I understand the principle of preferring strategy-based tactical combat, and I do think games like that are fun, I've liked the combat of the series more and more as it's evolved, so I'm willing to give it a shot before I make a judgment call. This has been a long way of giving you a hopefully consistent impression of some of the potential draws and pitfalls of the title out now. What is not, however, a problem in Dragon Age is its LGBT content. That has been a consistent fixture of the series since its first release, and has been a huge draw for a long time, giving players a ton of creative liberty to explore compelling character dynamics in the midst of a larger story. However, because right-wing content creators posturing as the last true gamers...
So, the right wing.
Of course. It's never the left wing. It's always the right wing. It's never the up wing.
It's always our fault.
It's never the up wing. Never the down wing. Never the diagonal wing. It's always the right wing.
pander with literally
Yeah, and
every
everybody who
new
disagrees with them at all is right wing, apparently.
Yeah.
need to pander
I
with literally.
I always remember the fact that when it comes to being labelled right wing, years and years ago, I just said, I'm not a big fan of The Force Awakens. And I automatically got labelled a right-wing communist Nazi who doesn't know what I'm on about.
Right-wing communist? That's a bit of an oxymoron there.
A right-wing communist Nazi.
That doesn't
They
make any
literally
sense.
call
That's
everything
not.
right wing.
That's not.
Yeah, I was just a bit
Is
like,
he
all I
trying to
said
say?
was,
Is he trying to say authoritarian?
I don't know. All I know is I was like, oh, okay, all I said was, I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with my politics.
Anyway.
To them, left and right has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah.
Need to pander with literally every new release, and because I have a deep abiding love for this series, and because I have nearly 35 gigabytes of Inquisition footage currently captured and loaded onto my PC anyway, I figured why not?
Oh, what? So?
So what?
So?
It's like he's trying to prove that he's a real gamer who knows about this series. It sounds like why he had that long spiel about stuff unrelated to the LGBT.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. He's also going, oh yeah, I've got all this footage of Inquisition. Okay, that's fantastic. I have an Xbox 360 filled with Dragon Age Origins, Awakening, and Dragon Age 2 playthroughs, a PlayStation 4 with Inquisition playthroughs, and an Xbox One full of all 4 games playthroughs. Okay, you've got video footage. Okay. We're not the same.
We're not the same, you and I.
Let's do this. Who's on first?
So Grums reports this to us because there was a leak that happened. A leak. Okay, so Dragon Age Veilguard leak, worst fears confirmed, and it's much worse than we think. This is the end of BioWare, Grums says.
The lovely individual you just watched was a woman named Melanie Mack. Don't worry, I won't torture you by making you watch her stumble through reading a tweet like it's her first time on the internet. There's a dead domain.
Oh my god.
Well, there's more poisoning the well there.
Video covering some of her content that I'd recommend for a little background if you're curious. It might help you understand why it sounds like her mouth is so dry in that clip. Melanie is a real...
It's because Melanie Mack tends to go, and a lot in her videos.
Card.
Yeah, I don't
She
see why
postures
anyone should go to her channel.
I don't see the issue.
hard as a Christian nationalist, but doesn't tend to demonstrate much familiarity with Christianity. She consistently expresses...
Okay, what?
What does this have to do with her take on Dragon Age?
Oh, gotta bash those evil god believers.
It has nothing to do with it. He just wants to, like you said, poison the well.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Either.
Oh, as a I always used to call myself an atheist. I now call myself a don't careist.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your religious belief is when it comes to your opinions on video games. I've watched incredibly liberal people go on a rant on Fox News about being able to bang everything that moves on Mass Effect.
Yeah. Oh wow.
It means nothing.
Yeah, it's because he has to say to the Christians, you know, that she's an extra evil right-wing Nazi.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Nazis, well-known Christians, were they?
Yeah, we all just Nazis.
Deep hatred for gay and transgender people, which would frankly have felt out of touch, cartoonish, and over the top in 2004, much less 2014, much
what?
less...
No. Oh my god, 2004. Listen.
Hold on, what?
If you were transported back to 2004, you would literally not believe how homophobic and transphobic, I'm putting quotation marks around these, the world was. The progressives today would not survive 2004.
No.
Yeah, this is
at
just
all.
going
They would just hang themselves straight away because everything is. They've gone so far to the left that even the radical leftists of 2004 will be seen as right wing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Barack Obama in
the right is where
2004.
the right is where the left used to be.
Yeah, but Barack Obama in 2004 was talking about not allowing gay marriages and talking about deporting immigrants.
This is true.
The
That's what I'm
left in
saying.
2004 said that George Bush was not hard enough on immigrants.
And now they're totally gone even way farther to the left, and it's like they're just
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah, don't worry
just
about
think
it.
about
We'll
that,
never
and then
make
you come in and say, oh well, her views would be out of place even in 2004. No, they'd probably be actually normal.
No. Christ.
2024. Her persona has a paper-thin emotional veneer that places her firmly in a zone of zero self-awareness, at times seeming equally likely to be lying or just delusional. Despite whatever may be motivating her hateful right-wing
What's the name
content,
of this guy on YouTube? What's this channel called?
Chariot.
Okay, I'm ready to
He needs to
avoid
just
him.
make his points and just stick to that.
So we're
Points
11
about
we're
the
11
game.
minutes in, and so far the evidence of Dragon Age always being woke is Inquisition has some really
I
gay
think
romances in it.
Chariot is woke. I think he's projecting.
Oh, you better believe this motherfucker's woke.
Absolutely zero self-awareness.
I know. I
Needs
was
to
just
stop
trying to. I
derailing.
was holding on to that one for a long time. He's definitely projecting.
Oh yeah.
He's complaining about himself. Let's put it that way.
No offense, but if I was making a video trying to explain how woke Dragon Age is, I wouldn't spend any time on Melanie Mac.
Yeah.
In fact, I wouldn't spend any time on anything other than proving the point that Dragon Age is always woke. I wouldn't be saying, oh yeah, well, this person here says this stuff. It's like, okay, where's your evidence it is always woke? I don't care about online drama. I just... Oh, whatever.
Full right-wing content pivot, you can see her here showing off a tweet from Mark Kern, also the subject of a Great Dead Domain video, link in the description again, citing the recent
Of course, Chariot's a fan of Dead Domain. Ugh.
supposed interview between a small content creator, Nure, however it's pronounced, and an alleged Dragon Age the Veilguard playtester. If it seems like these people just regurgitate their bile into each other's mouths like a bunch of confused baby birds, it's because they do. Nure is a Twitch gaming streamer
That's the person who makes videos like this that are basically just a circle jerk with his other progressive buddies. That's literally 90% of why they make videos like
Dude,
this. Just a circle jerk.
I literally one day I literally popped into I literally crashed fucking Dane's stream and it had him and Bob on, and fucking Dane said, yeah, Backseater, you basically just kind of say the same thing all the other right-wing YouTubers say. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we all had to say completely different things from each other. It's like, bruh, I could easily throw that. We could easily throw that back at them and say, oh yeah, well you say everything, you say the same things every other leftist YouTuber says. So it's like that's such a nothing burger count argument.
I just want to point out that everything in the leaks was true.
Yes.
And it was worse than we expected.
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce this YouTuber. Is it
Nuru
or something? Nure. Yeah, she was 100% correct with everything.
Yes.
So
she was so correct. Sucks. EA Play banned her from coming on.
Yeah. When your enemies ban you, it means you're correct.
Yes.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
YouTube channel seems to have popped up over the past year, almost exclusively to take shots at BioWare and Dragon Age the Veilguard in particular.
Oh, okay, and what about that trans YouTuber that just popped up to suck BioWare's dick? Is that an alright profile, or do we just ignore that one?
They aren't an otherwise reputable source and seem to be farming engagement.
What do you mean not reputable? They got a bloody playtester. They had inside sources who were correct.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's like... Oh no, you just popped up last year. You're not a reputable source. Well, no, I've got insiders. Yeah, okay then. We've literally got video evidence.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
This is insane. Anyway, let's keep going.
The life of me, I'll never understand the people who cast doubt on the idea that you can farm clout with rage bait. How successful you'll be is anyone's guess, but as I discussed in an upcoming video, YouTube's algorithm rewards SEO or search engine optimization practices with strong emotional hooks. And while both strong positive and strong negative emotions work,
Funny because
I
he
think we all
sounds
know
kind of emotional at points in this video. He really does.
Yes. He's got that kind of like sissy, real effeminate voice, and it's like real soft. Doesn't want to offend anyone. Anyway.
God.
the bar for making someone extremely happy and the bar for making someone extremely angry are set at quite different heights. You see, reputable journalistic outlets have at least theoretical editorial standards, which require an interview by a journalist to be resubjected to the eyes of another supposedly impartial person.
Don't you bring up journalists and fucking hell.
No, it's journalists.
Wow. Gaming journalists have got standards. No, they don't. The gaming journalists are literally having that Alicia, whatever her name is, have a fight with random YouTubers, and they're like, "Yes, this is what we want."
Yeah.
We're not going to make it through this entire video. We've only gotten 12 minutes in, and it's been an hour and 15 minutes.
He's not spoken about anything regarding Dragon Age. He's just having a bitch fit at other YouTubers.
He's going to say something like that. He's just complaining. That's why I said he's projecting, because he's complaining about the thing that he does.
I think
Well,
I know why he's doing this. Really, it's because a lot of these videos are just 90% to circle jerk with the people with
It
the
is
same
rage
opinion.
baiting
So,
and
yeah.
circle jerking. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You're right.
Anyway.
Don't worry.
Can
we'll
we
get
end
into
this soon? I
momentarily.
kind of want to do something different, and I'm sick of watching
I
this
s-
guy
I
not
s-
make any sense.
I still want to see.
What's his what are the
not making
chapters of his video called?
All right,
Because
I want to see go to the names. Wait,
see here.
go to
What
the names.
Gay
because the
Pride
first
had
one was-
wrought. What Gay Pride had wrought. We finished that. We're on In Your Heart Shall Curd. Coom upon all the world. Here lies the discourse. From the fascies, from the fascies, champions of the unjust. So
I don't think we're gonna be able to finish this in like inside an hour. Another hour.
I don't have. I don't have time limits on my videos, and I'm still relatively interested in where this wants to go. So
he's not making any sense. He's just talking about the things he's doing. He's a hypocrite.
Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I actually want to start getting to the actual arguments of why Dragon Age has always been woke. I'm just, just.
All right, I'll speed
we're
it
not
up
gonna.
now.
We're not gonna finish it if we don't do that. Oh my god.
The important thing to note here first, however, is that YouTubers and Twitch streamers don't individually have the organizational and institutional backing to manage something like that at a level where they would be recognized as academically rigorous and journalistically reliable. This means that you might not want to...
Do they even really need that? I feel like they don't need that shit, bro. Because, like, of course they're fucking freelance. They're YouTubers.
Just skip through this. I don't need to listen to this.
Alright.
Believe them when they pull the anti-woke equivalent of, my dad works at Nintendo. Why you would treat them as reputable at all is, of course, beyond me. Years upon years of anti-journalist sentiment, among other things, have made gaming communities ripe for right-wing infiltration. Because while anti-corporate and anti-intellectual sentiments are not the exclusive domain of the political right, they do mesh well with certain other right-wing ideological proclivities, an exhaustive exploration of which would make this video frankly unwatchable. The chief thing I want to point to here, however, is the tendency...
Your video's already unwatchable!
What you might call alternative facts. The reality of the situation and the direction the evidence points isn't relevant to anti-woke hucksters, which is why they regularly catastrophize about games they haven't played and shows they haven't watched, spread unproven and unverified claims, and otherwise...
Yeah. It's like, bruh, like, you brought up Nure earlier. She is a former BioWare fan. The reason she's so willing to make videos over all this is because she's that invested in the damn IP, and she's so fucking disappointed and angry with what the company and the IP has become. She wouldn't be doing this if she was like a fan of, like, I don't know, like Activision or whatever the hell. God.
admit in their less sensible moments to not caring whether the things they say they believe are true. This last quality is so inevitable that almost invariably when arguments about this issue reach a certain pitch, fans of anti-woke content creators clamor to be the first to toss a tu quoque fallacy into the mix. If you say anti-woke talking points are based on poor reasoning or lack of evidence and their talking points are often lies, they'll jump to talking about how their ideological opponents do the same thing. This is another admission by default. Hypothetically, if you accuse me of lying,
Does person have
and instead
any
of
footage of anything other than Inquisition?
No. Oh my god.
disputing the claim by showing evidence I do either of the following things, there's a strong likelihood that I am trying to deceive you. The first tactic is something I've already mentioned, namely deflecting by gesturing at imagined hypocrisy. This one is great because even if I said this and believed it, I would still be admitting to being comfortable believing and spreading lies, which is an admission of guilt. The second tactic is a bit more subtle. Instead of deflection, it's obfuscation. If you can't meet a claim on its merits and you can't go on the offense.
Also, guys, hey, look, hang on. Let me go back a bit. Hang on. There it is. Hang on. Look,
if you can't
cloth
beat a claim on its merits and you can't go on the
animations.
offense right away, you might try muddying the waters by making overly granular arguments about definitions. If you can make things granular enough and do it enough times, the fact that you can't dispute anything won't necessarily matter, because you don't have to. It's a way of arguing with pure rhetoric. These are two of the major tactics people running interference for anti-woke slop purveyors use, and recognizing when someone is doing those allows you to see
You
task
seem to
definitions
know a
where they
lot
would rather
about the
that you
thing you're
didn't.
complaining
But hold
about.
on.
Maybe you're
I just
into
used a
it.
contentious word, didn't I? Fixating on contentious words is like getting lost in the weeds of definitions, another great deflection tactic. But I call these channels slop content, and I meant it.
Oh my
People use that
god,
word
get
slop
on
to
with
mean
it.
something bad. I don't use it that way.
Get
When I
on
say
with
something
it.
is slop,
Yes,
it's
get
slop
on
content
with
and
it.
dismiss.
Get
A lot
on
of these
with
channels produce
it.
the same videos with the same
point
point
is saying
over and
this
over and
stuff.
over and over and over and over. They rarely have more evidence or better arguments.
No one
It's the
gives a
same news
shit
that
about the
gentlemen repeat
journalistic
day in and day
integrity
out.
of
And
YouTubers.
naturally,
Get
they have their
on with it.
rationalizations, but that's slop, baby. You might fantasize about being better than major media companies, but you're still producing and guzzling down your own brand of culture industry slop, with arguably more zeal and less room for critical thought. And that's the
If you
point,
like
I
this
think.
video,
doesn't have to
Look
do
at
with
some
why
community
it's
threads
woke.
about this nerdy.
Aren't you guys ashamed of appearing so gullible on the internet? I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know
One of the users said, aren't you guys ashamed of
Literally
appearing so
irrelevant.
gullible on the internet?
This is
The answer,
irrelevant.
I've come to believe, is no. Because when you can justify any behavior by saying the other side does it too, partisan gullibility becomes a virtue, not a vice.
Oh yeah,
Think
isn't
about all
that
the
what
people
you're
who share
doing?
New York Post,
Yeah, that's
InfoWars, and
literally
Breitbart
what
articles
you're
to win
doing
arguments on
right
the
now,
internet, but tell you
Chariot.
major reputable news sources are fake news.
That's all we
I'm
can
sure
say.
it's tempting for some people responding to this to say they're expressing poor media literacy, but that's
Ah!
whatever their private emotional
Oh
Oh my
turmoil,
god,
many
we're
of them
going to
are
get at
hateful
least
and
20
implicitly or
minutes in and
explicitly
he's
subscribe
not
to
done
supremacist
anything
ideologies.
to prove
It's
Dragon
done
Age
I'll
was.
address some generalities of the situation,
know, it's
including
been a
why this
long
evidence isn't very
time and
strong,
nothing
and
has
why I
happened.
don't take these
Talked
people
about
seriously
it.
as a rule of thumb. I'd like to look at some associated claims. These come from an Endymion video, looking at the same alleged leaks promoted by NER.
Let's get into what was leaked here because it's a lot. Firstly, the playtester claimed that the game is full-on modern audience woke language all over the place. And a lot of the modern 2024 real-world nonsense is present in this game, which is very much not the real world at all and shouldn't be in here in the first place. For example, Tosh, the Kunari companion in the game, you know, the one who's ugly as
Tash
sin,
is
apparently tells
trash.
Rook, the main character in their first encounter, that
No,
Tosh is
no,
non-binary.
no way.
Like, they just straight up say that and throw it in your
Wow.
face
Yeah, just
immediately.
straight
This
up
is
the
already awful and
word.
fills me with despair, but it keeps
No
going.
special
Next is that besides the
Kunari
pronouns
word.
nonsense being thrust down your throat, the game's romances are allegedly locked based on your choices in the character selection screen. Apparently, in the build of this game, which the tester played, if you chose the pronouns he, him, and, you know, confirm that you're straight, then you're immediately locked into only 2 romance options for your character, which is Nev or Neve, the Ice Mage brown lady person, and Harding, the dwarf girl from Inquisition. However, if you confirm that your character is pansexual in the character creator, then you are actually able to romance anyone in the game regardless of your gender or pronouns. Apparently, this feature may have been changed due to Baldur's Gate 3's success, which allowed you to romance anyone no matter what
I'm
you
pretty
were.
sure
but the
people know
jury
what
is still
they're
out on this
doing
one.
when they're
But the
making
fact that
their
you can only have 2
characters
romance
straight or
options
not.
if you were a straight man is ridiculous to me,
They
which
know
means
what
you
they're
can't romance
doing.
the
They know what
Asian
they're
elf
doing,
chick.
and
I believe her name is
Like,
Balara if you're a straight man, but maybe you can if
Actually,
you're
a
gay,
lot of
or
stuff
you're only into
like
women,
from
or
the
if you're
fans
pansexual.
that lets you do what you want, not trying to say a character is gay or bi.
Right. One of the best things is let's not try and talk while the video's playing because we could miss something, and you know what people will say, oh, you don't listen. So if you want to say your points again, because I'm trying to listen into what this really fast speaking saying.
I'm really alright, I'm sorry, Hawk, I'm sorry. Hang on, let me bring it back down to normal. I was about to say, like, I'm pretty sure, like, you could still romance anyone in this game anyway, because, like, Byron legit said, oh, all the companions are canonically pansexual and shit, which is just a fancy word for bisexual, honestly, but anyway.
Also, you can create a male straight character and then accidentally make him trans as well in this game.
Oh, yeah.
This feature may have been
Because there's that mirror that Varric gives you.
Mirror, yeah.
And it forces you into becoming trans if you go onto it and press the wrong option.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no way out of
success, which allowed you to romance anyone no matter what you were,
crazy.
but the jury is still out on this one. But the fact that you can only have 2 romance options if you were a straight man is ridiculous to me, which means you can't romance the Asian elf chick. I believe her name is Balara if you're a straight man, but maybe you can if you're gay. or they're only into women. But if you're pansexual and a man, then Balara is magically suddenly available to you. Notice how all of this is convoluted nonsense and is just more current dayisms in modern gaming. I hate it here, man, but there's more.
Now, I've caught Endymion lying about things before, link in the description, but that's not really any great achievement. I could call him a tourist here, and to be fair, it would be totally justified. It's not a word that I like, because I actually think welcoming new people into communities helps those communities grow in a positive way.
No, you don't.
Dude. If you do that willy nilly, yes, you want to bring in new people, but if you bring in new people willy nilly, you just let the fucking gates open, just get rid of the fucking gatekeepers. That's when fandoms fucking die.
No, these people do not want new people in because they don't even want the old people in the fandom. Also,
right.
choosing your pronouns affecting who you can romance and making it so weird. Yeah, that's not in the other games. So I want to see what. By the way, we're nearly 20 minutes in, and so far all we've done is bitch about 2 YouTubers.
I like sharing games I love with other people. However, I have to admit it's pretty suspicious that Endymion would say this about the transgender character in Veilguard. Fans of Dragon Age will
be honest,
recall...
he's making a video about something that no one really cares about, and no one really is going to watch this and think, oh, that matters to me.
Oh, we're talking to a Krem here. We have that character who, the only reason they're transgender is because they wear men's clothing.
Yes, fucking great.
They've not gone through any surgeries or anything to become a man. They have breast binders.
By that logic, Polly Oliver is transgender.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Krem's the most non-trans person you can be.
Yeah. Anyway.
How in
I couldn't tell you. I don't
there's a
even
few
remember
points
who any of these characters are anymore. I haven't played
There's
the game.
nothing. She's in 3 cutscenes, and then you talk to her a little bit. Then that's it.
Krem is just a nothing burger character that leftists latched onto. That's what they are.
Inquisitor, the player character, can converse with another member of the Inquisition, Krem, about the fact that Krem is a transgender man. This isn't quote-unquote 2024 nonsense, because it was already in the series in 2014. The same goes for some romance options being locked upon character creation, a change partially present in Dragon Age Origins, but fully realized in Inquisition as one of the series' most progressive changes. Dragon Age was lauded for this back when it was introduced, and it remains a feature
in Inquisition. Wow! And what year was Inquisition released? 2014. And what's special about 2014? Oh, that's when wokeness started. Wow! It's almost like it's connected to something. It's almost like people who lived through it saw it.
That adds an immense amount of character depth and game replayability. Inquisition also has a scene where Iron Bull introduces the Inquisitor to Krem and mentions if Krem were Kunari, he would be a Kun Athlok, which is Kunlaut for a person who is assigned one gender but lives as another, which in turn implies there have been transgender...
As well, I'd like to point out that every new fan of BioWare takes everything that Iron Bull says as the solid truth.
Fact.
Iron Bull's name means liar in Kunari.
Yeah.
He's known as the liar.
Yeah. Dude, that shit is like everyone who joins Star Wars, the Star Wars fandom takes everything Kreia says for fact. It's like
Kreia was a Sith Lord.
Yes, Darth Treya. Yeah. Anyway.
You know who I'd rather listen to about the story of the history of the Kunari, the Arashok. One of the 3 leaders.
Yeah.
Of the Kunari, who never once mentions transgender people, or never once mentions, anything that Iron Bull mentions. It's really strange, that is.
Also,
Sten.
Yes,
Sten doesn't comprehend having a woman fight.
Yes.
Weird that. Strange.
Also, this video killed Luck Pup. Anyway.
Yeah, Luck
Kunari
Pup has
for
fallen asleep
a
on
decade
us.
at least.
Oh no, they're not even
mechanic
here.
Luck
You
Pup
see, they
died of
left.
Luck Pup died of cringe. Anyway.
of Dragon
Died of
Age.
boredom and
Endymion
cringe.
is 10 whole years too late to be making these kinds of proclamations. All of these people
No,
faking
people
their
made this
dragon
proclamation 10 years ago.
Oh, God.
It's the same arguments.
Oh my God.
People brought this up 10 years ago. Whatever.
Age street cred just to farm clicks talking smack about LGBTQ people are so transparently ignorant about the series that it's impossible to know literally anything about Dragon Age and not see how they're lying to your face. A fact made evident by
Lying
the
to
part
your
where
face.
Endymion just starts making up hypotheticals and then tells the audience that the hypothetical is confusing because the developers made it confusing and not because he made it up to be confusing, which he did. This
It's
isn't
such a
even
stupid
ignorance,
argument
this
to
is
have to
sheer
feel like you have to
malice,
have.
abundantly obvious even in an age when it's hard to tell the difference. Speaking of which...
Wait, no,
The
that's what critical
options
thinking
feel-
is for.
Yes. Here we go. Coom upon all the world.
Almost
So-
endless.
Oh no.
So this video is not anything to do about Dragon Age always being woke. This is just a video about I don't like what people are saying about Veilguard.
Pretty much.
And,
There's even a glute
and
slider.
that's it. So
And yes, I gave
Right.
my rug.
No, it could have been way bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold, oh man.
Yeah, it should be way that should be, guys. That should be 20%. That's
Yeah.
it. That's like nothing, bro. Like, oh my god.
Is it because he's
At
talking?
least
Is
it's
he talking?
I
like,
guess.
the glute size.
Well, what about? Are they
Yeah.
going to show the
Yeah.
dick slider? Let's see what we got with that.
One hell of an ass. All
No.
of this is only
Yeah,
scratching.
right.
No, it's
Like,
not.
apparently this girl doesn't spend 4 hours like I do on Instagram every day. No, it's not. In the Veilguard, you can actually show, you can have an indicator here where you can have top surgery scars in order to emulate what your scars would look like if you had trans surgery. I think this is one of the most lazy and devoid of any degree of creativity examples of why you should expect the story in the game to be soft, modern, flat, and garbage, and completely uncreative. So we live in a world of magic, demons, dragons, and shape-shifting. However, you still need to undergo a, surgery in order to change your gender. What a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense.
And Hawk, last time you were on the show, we disproved that there's no way to fucking change your gender in Dragon Age. We already went over that with the Eric video. Anyway.
So when I see something like that, and then I see the character's skin tone be referred to as melanin, I see an image of a game that is made to reinforce a real-world view and be a hyper-reality rather than a fantasy world.
Right.
I find it to be very weird. And I don't think that you should expect to see a story that's written by a studio like that have any sort of depth to it, have any degree of edge, any sort of internal truth. I think that you can expect to see an extremely flat and extremely dull and a very soft modern story that takes no risks and only reinforces what the artists and the writers that are making it want you to believe about the real world. That's the way I feel. It feels condescending. It is. And so that's my opinion.
What Chariot will say
and
about this.
I understand that people might
if it's
not
not,
think this.
this is 100% correct, and boy, he called it.
This man is based.
I want everybody to clip what I'm saying here, and let's take it to the bank whenever the game comes out, and we'll see if I'm right or not.
Those clips are probably slightly confusing to some of you, so I feel the need for a little elaboration.
No, I have an IQ higher than 4.
They're not confusing to anyone. Anyone. Ever. At all.
No.
Ever.
No.
If something seems
He just
a little
said it's going to be a flat, boring game because these people just put their own political ideologies into it and create a game of just about their lives. It's like, yes, that is exactly what happened.
It's a self-insert. It's called a self-insert.
Yeah.
About what Asmongold was saying here, it's firstly because his rant comes off incredibly forced. Beyond the
come
strange
on.
butt-related
doesn't.
comments, it's really weird how little he has to say beyond regurgitating, like Melanie Mac before, just another Grums tweet along with some pablum about present-day culture. Why it would be uncreative to add something like this is beyond me, since if anything, proactively building upon the setting is
Why
a
would it be
strictly creative...
uncreative? They spend time talking about fucking coffee in Veilguard.
Yes.
Something that doesn't exist in the Dragon Age setting until Veilguard.
Super weird.
act, but my man is talking straight nonsense anyway. First of all, that's not what hyperreality means. Hyperreality is when signifiers are treated as stand-ins for what they signify. There is straight up no way this dude is reading Baudrillard. And what does he mean by internal truth? You can't just slap vague emotional phrases into a speech and act like it's cunning analysis of a work of art. But it goes further than that. Because
I'm only living in a...
what?
I'm obviously living in a different reality where this person is saying words and then forgetting they say words.
Chariot's like Eric. His videos have managed to pierce the space-time continuum.
You can't just put emotional language and think it says something deeper. That's what you've done that for 25 minutes.
We've only gotten halfway through the video because we sped through it for the past 20 minutes. We're never gonna finish. This is never gonna get all the way through.
He's done nothing to prove that Dragon Age has always been woke beyond.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that about 45 minutes ago.
I'm still.
I need to know why Dragon Age Origins is woke.
Yes.
I need to know why the game has always been woke. I need to know what this point is. I need to know when he's going to get to the fucking point halfway through the 1 hour video.
I don't care about all this evidence in Inquisition. Inquisition is the third game in the series.
Yeah.
That was clearly retconned to include more stuff, right?
We need to go back
I want to know why Dragon Age Origins, the first game in the series, was woke.
Yeah.
Because then if you can prove that, then you can prove that Dragon Age has always been woke.
But he's not doing it. He's talking about Veilguard and Inquisition.
He's not even talking about. He's just talking about how people don't like Veilguard. Well, okay.
Well, no shit. It's a shit game.
It's a shit game.
Asmongold
Like, the worst part about it is, especially with these videos that we cover later, is the fact that because we're in the future and seeing how it's turned out, these videos look 1,000 times worse.
Yeah.
Because everything they said, that will not happen, did happen.
Yes.
And also, just off the cuff, who the fuck is confused by Asmongold's clips?
No, apparently,
all he said was.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
The basic thing is this: if Asmongold's clip, he just said these people just write self-inserts, so do not expect a deep story in Veilguard. That's the basis of what he's saying. The game's been released, and it's true.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Like, wasn't every companion in that game based off the fucking people working on it? I'm pretty fucking sure.
I'm pretty sure they were self-inserting their own ideologies into everything, like he's saying, and then he's trying to deflect it as if it's not true about the fucking game
was
he's
Corinne
talking about.
Bush in that game? Tash, probably.
Okay.
No, Tash.
Tash was defending them doing self-inserts, but he's also saying that they're doing it, but not talking about the same game. I don't fucking know what universe he's in.
Yeah, but Tash was Patrick Weeks.
Was he saying that they were self-inserting for Dragon Age, or was he talking about something else?
He's talking about something else, I think. I don't fucking know anymore.
He's just doing. Yeah, he's just a liar.
Garbage here. Dragon Age Inquisition not only had a transgender character who was accepted by his comrades, he also makes explicit references to chest binding when he jokes with Iron Bull and the Inquisitor in one of the scenes. If you explored all the dialogue with the Chargers, you might remember this. Chest binding is a practice similar to top surgery, but obviously less permanent.
Oh my god, they included chest binding because it's a retcon.
Yes.
Fucking hell! You've got Sir Catherine.
There's a lot of retconning going on in Inquisition. You can't prove anything going on about Inquisition, especially if you're not going to go back to the source or the original game, the source material where it started. But even that
That's
won't
like,
prove
okay.
it's always been. Even that won't prove it's always been woke. You have to prove it's
Right,
always
this is like-
been woke.
Say the next Star Wars movie is
It's
a
not woke.
Western set in 1870, right?
1870s
that, yeah.
Earth, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, okay. And everyone watches and goes, this isn't Star Wars. And someone goes, no. Star Wars has always been about the
Westerns.
1870s Westerns, right?
Yeah.
And the
Because
only
they're just
evidence
gonna
they ever
say- 'cause everyone
provide
calls-
is
everyone
that
calls it a
movie.
space western anyway, so they're just gonna say, yeah, it's always been. It's a space
Function is to
western.
reduce gender dysphoria.
No, not
related
even
to
that.
Best
But
space
all the,
western we've ever had.
no, but it's like the only evidence they ever provide is from that movie,
recent
which has just been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then someone goes, well, what about Star Wars: A New Hope, the thing that set off, and they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
No, but
Like
that's what's happening here.
Here's over 5,000 search results that prove you wrong, but here's one that agrees with you. I'll take it. Anyway.
Just go to page 100 of Google, and you'll see the one that you agree with. That agrees with.
Yeah.
Gender dysphoria.
They don't
related
even
to
have. That doesn't even. Never mind.
dysphoria
Play it,
related
play
to
it.
breast size for transmasculine individuals.
I don't know why anyone cares
Characters in
about
Dragon
breast
Age have
size
been
in a
able to
video
have
game. Your
scars
only thing you're
well before the Veil
Never
Guard,
mind.
and the idea that top scars invalidate one's sense of one's own gender in
Okay,
any way
right.
that breasts would.
Top scars do invalidate it, because why hasn't Krem done it?
Even then, you're not.
If you can have top surgery, why hasn't Krem done it?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't exist in Dragon Age. They just
Because it doesn't
Because,
exist in
because top
Inquisition
surgery
yet.
didn't even exist.
Yeah.
Didn't even exist in Inquisition. So it's a new retcon.
No.
Yeah, another one.
Did they stop? Did fucking Bioware stop at Retcons R Us before they made these games?
I don't.
Yes.
Maybe I don't
Yes.
Implies scars would produce the same dysphoria, but for many people that's not true. This is what happens when cisgender people talk about what it means to be transgender in a way that
Hang on a
only
second.
supports.
That doesn't make sense. Nobody does that. I'm cis, as you would call it, which just means I'm hetero.
Yes.
I've never talked about what it's like to be transgender because I'm not transgender.
I never talk about what it's like to be transgender because I'm mentally sound of mind.
That too. That fucking too. Don't you know it?
I don't talk about transgender because I'm based. Anyway.
Their prior
No, but also, why is he using cisgender as a slur?
Because it's
Chariot, are you cisphobic?
Oh my god.
I just love it that they go, oh, this cisgender person. I don't give a fuck. What? Doesn't matter.
I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks except for me, unless it's someone I can interact with in the real world, and like not online. Like, if I care what my family thinks, I don't care what people think of characters in video games that I do not play, that are not good, for all the reasons he's listing. Even though he's saying he's going in a circle. No, he's going in a word salad.
He will not get on to the actual point of what makes Dragon Age woke.
He's not able to. That's why he's making a word salad, hoping that you'll think he can.
Oh, this is.
He just keeps going, well, Inquisition this, Inquisition that, Inquisition retcon stuff.
Veil Guard, everything after number 2.
To how trans people really
He's
experience
hoping you'll think he's not as stupid as he makes himself look like.
Yes.
transness.
I just want him to say, right. Well, you know what's ironic? I made a post under a YouTube video. I think it was Smash JT. Is that his name?
I don't know. Okay.
He's been the one releasing a lot of stuff about with BioWare and everything. And I pointed out that people who always say Dragon Age is always woke literally do this as their argument. Number 1, mention Zevran as a single gay romance in Origins. Number 2, just use Inquisition as evidence, ignoring the fact that they're all retcons. This guy is literally doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Moreover,
what he's doing.
And I put that comment 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And shapeshifting might exist in the Dragon Age universe, but they're
Yeah,
hard
but
to
nobody
yeah. First of all, shapeshifting sucks. Don't use it. Second of all, shapeshifting.
No, hold on.
What?
Shapeshifting might exist. No, it does exist.
The only difference is that you can't like change into a different person. You got a fucking bear, a giant spider, a whole bunch of insects, and one more I forgot. So
You
that's
turn
it.
into fucking insect.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You can't say it might exist. It does exist.
Oh my god. Well,
It's a talent that Morrigan used. In fact, in Inquisition, she transforms into a fucking crow.
Yeah, she even does it in fucking Veilguard. Christ.
So it does exist. Also, Flemeth transforms into a dragon.
Yes. Oh my god. Is Chariot a
Also,
fake fan?
Solus turns into a
I just
giant
got
dog.
a snack while you were all talking about that. I just grabbed a snack.
Hawk, what'd you say about Solus? What'd you say about Solus?
Solus turns into a giant dog.
Yeah.
So it might exist. Okay, it might exist.
It might exist.
Might.
This is like I can't think of any good examples right now. Sorry.
Mundane.
In Origins, right, you can talk to some mages at the tower, and they talk about how they've transformed some of their animals into stuff.
It's normal.
So yeah, it does exist.
It's normal for people in Thedas to have scars, unless you know nothing about the history of magic.
What does this have to do with wokeness?
Yeah.
It's normal for people in Thedas to have scars. Yes.
Yes, because there's a lot of fighting going on.
No, even in the real world, people have scars. Like, I have a scar on my hand.
Yeah.
Where
Me too, on my left hand.
a guy bit into it and severed my tendons. In a
You wanna know
fight.
what happened to me? I had the chicken
What?
pox, and then I got shingles. After
that
that, when I was a 2-year-old, I had shingles that gave me a scar on my hand.
Mine's a more badass story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chariot. Hey, Chariot. My dad has this really bad burn scar on like his arm, like his upper arm, around where his shoulder is, cause like he leaned up against a fucking exhaust pipe on a car and it blasted hot air onto him. Does that make my dad trans now? God.
What's his argument about the scars? What's he trying to say?
He's basically saying like because scars exist, then transgender people exist.
Yeah, because scars exist, top surgery scars are not. It should be normal.
Yeah. Also, what a waste of Jennifer Hale on this nothing burger character. Christ.
Yeah.
Venter, Andraste, the Chantry, and the Circles, you couldn't say something like this. Magic is controversial in Thedas. Shapeshifting isn't a universal power even among mages. Coincidentally, the character I was using to record footage in Inquisition when this discourse blew up has scars, but so do characters like Iron Bull, Cassandra, and others.
Yeah, because they're fighters.
What the fuck? You can't know. This is such a stupid argument.
Critical thinking.
How did Iron Bull and Cassandra get these scars? They must be probably trans.
I'm gonna go watch Asmongold now. And I'm not even a subscriber of his. I've never subscribed to him. I've never watched his shit.
No.
I'm already on his channel.
Alright.
We've reached the halfway point, and we've now descended into scars exist. So anyway, trans people.
Oh my god.
Smoking
How long have we
crack.
been recording? Almost 2 hours. Can we end this in like 15 minutes? We have 15 more minutes.
We've been a little under 2 hours, so now hour 42. Let's keep going.
He just made a bunch of stuff up and fearmongered about something that has functionally had a place in Dragon Age 4.
He made stuff up. He watched the fucking pre-release footage of the character creator. He didn't make shit up. He saw it. We saw it. You saw it.
And he made an educated guess and was 100% correct.
Yes.
You are now trying to make a long-winded defense, and you are 100% incorrect. Wow.
I want to end this within the next 15 minutes on the hour. It's 45 minutes past. I want to end this in 15 minutes if we can.
All right. Well, if we
this is taking too long.
If we
he's not telling us why.
If we run out of shit to counter argue or make fun of, I'll cut it here, Noah. All right.
Forever, based on pure vibes. I'm sure a bunch of people will believe it, because if the claims are phrased vaguely enough and the standard of evidence is any intuitive reaction you might have to a given stimuli, then naturally anything can be anything. Now, it's completely beyond me whether Asmongold is just so stupid and biased against queer people that he would genuinely buy this argument.
I don't think
or
he's
whether
biased
he's just
against queer people. I
actively
certainly don't think he's stupid.
No.
just
Bro,
actively lying to his
horrible.
audience. Flip that coin, I guess. However, there's
Right.
something a little bit deeper going on here, and for that, I'd like to direct you all to a documentary produced for the BBC by John Berger.
Let's just go watch a documentary while we watch your video.
Great fucking BBC.
Do
Hawk,
a-
aren't
do
the
a-
BBC
do a
like
Blue
real
Boy
big
did.
communists?
Wait, isn't this what Blue Boy did yesterday, where he was like talking about one thing and said, "I'll watch this clip," and then it was like,
Yes.
Yeah, the BBC.
Sorry, last week, whatever day it was.
Yeah, the BBC literally had a paedophile ring that they covered up.
No.
So, in fact, even funnier, there's a statue on the front of the BBC building that was created by a paedophile, and it's literally a man fondling a small child.
Oh no.
So yeah, I don't pay much attention to what the BBC says. Also, their newest fact checker, which runs the stuff, lied on her CV and has been caught out making up stories.
The only
So,
thing the BBC
okay.
is good for is for Molly Damon's programming.
About the traditions of European paintings, particularly this episode about how
I'm
women
gonna
are
leave
portrayed
it
in the
on the
arts.
hour. I'm gonna leave
All right.
after we get to like
Okay.
8 o'clock.
All right, Noah.
Yeah.
All right.
No, in 10 minutes, 12 minutes, I'm gonna just go hang out with some other friends.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
All right.
Oh my god,
Noah.
it's BBC 4 as well. Good god.
Are they the worst of the BBCs?
It's the pretentious fucking artsy fartsy cunts.
Holy shit.
Most nudes in oil paintings have been lined up by their painters for the pleasure of the male spectator owner, who will
Are we
assess
watching a
and judge
documentary
them as
now?
sights.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Their nudity is another form
No,
of dress.
I'm not doing this. I'm not fucking. No, I'm not listening to a fucking 1970s documentary from BBC 4 to explain why Dragon Age is woke.
Here we go. I'm speeding through it.
They are condemned to never be naked. With their clothes off, they are as formal as with their clothes on. Those who are not judged beautiful are not beautiful. Those who are given the prize. The prize is to be owned. That is to say, to be available.
In fandom spaces,
Okay, here we go.
extra
What does that
judgment is
have to
foisted
do with fucking
I
Dragon
don't know.
on members
It
of
doesn't have
minority
anything to do with wokeness, and it doesn't have anything to do with Dragon Age or video gaming.
Oh.
groups, women included. Their place in the fandom is under increased scrutiny in no small part
the
because they
point
do
of
not.
what that
Yeah,
character
because
just-
most
like,
of
I
them
just
act
said-
like freaking morons.
He's using 60-year-old footage to prove his point about something that never existed.
I don't know. He's basically saying that like he's Noah. He's saying that women and
Hang on, he's
minorities
using,
are
like, 50 or
What-
60-year-old footage from the 1970s?
Noah. He's saying that women and minorities get put under more scrutiny in the Dragon Age fandom.
Wait, like the fans or the characters?
The real world women and minorities who are fans of Dragon Age get put under scrutiny. Yeah, because they're fucking morons by and large.
I just want to put this out there, but he was using footage from the 1970s/80s to describe a point he was making about wokeness in video gaming when it never existed until the 80s, and wokeness didn't exist until like 10, 11 years ago. Gaming was like a 1980s thing in the mid 80s, but gaming wasn't like this.
That was
back then.
That was the
Gaming wasn't
1970s.
like this back then. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Do you know how I know
James
that was the
didn't have-
1970s?
James didn't even have. Yeah, go on. How'd you know?
Hi,
How?
Tavon.
Because it's
Hi,
it's
Tavon.
a
How you
doing,
it's a documentary that my granddad watched because he likes art, and I remember watching that documentary with him years ago.
What does it, Hawk? Does it have anything to do with this?
No, not at all. It's just talking about art.
He was just talking about paintings. He wasn't even talking about wokeness or something that didn't exist yet. Video games.
Yeah, video games didn't exist. Like, video games were Pong in 1970s.
Yeah.
You had like Pong, and not even in the 70s. I think it was like 78 or 80 something. I don't know. Anyway, Pong, and you had Pong, and you had Breakout, and maybe Space Invaders. I don't know.
The normative role of spectator owner. Gamer is
Anything
the
with
hard
Mario.
for white men. Thus, the role of member
Wait, hold on. What the hell was that? He just brought up white men. Hold on. Let me go back.
is the hard R for white men. Thus, the role of members of minority groups becomes to exist as an ideal that is
What?
What is the hard R for
Hang
white
on,
men?
hang on, hang on, hang on. Let me go back a bit.
Hang
Hang
on.
on. Everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet. I want to hear what the hell he has to say. Hang on, hang on, hang on.
Me
Hold
too.
up.
Me too. Rewind. Me too.
I gotta rewind that. Shit.
That was funny.
Okay, here we
That
go.
was fun.
Hang on. Shh.
do not proportionally occupy the normative role of spectator owner. Gamer is the hard R for white men.
Gamer's
No,
the
it's
hard
not.
R for
No,
white
it's
men.
not. Shut up.
What the
No, it's
fuck?
fucking
What the shit?
Thus, the role of members of minority
Guy
groups becomes
is
to
just delusional.
He's delusional.
Man.
minority groups becomes to exist as an ideal that is simultaneously pleasing and non-disruptive to those same white men whose role is established by said norm.
What?
All members of minority groups in video games
What?
serve at the pleasure and permission of their
don't know.
perceived betters. You might call this the gamer gaze. Truly, it is merely the extension of a well-worn cultural practice,
Gaze.
which is inviolate across so
G-A-Z-E
much of our
or-
society. To contest this practice is to contest one's own fate as a member of a subordinate class. I'd like
Pause
to
it.
address another
What?
So I'm just gonna explain to Tavon what we're watching.
Oh my
We're
god.
watching a video where this guy is trying to explain why Dragon Age, the franchise, has always been woke. But so far, we've watched about 30 minutes of the video. It's a 1-hour video, and he's not come to one fucking piece of evidence. He's just talking about random shit and saying how it relates to his point that he's not making.
And he has
He's been talking about the third and fourth game and not the first game at all. He hasn't
Yes.
mentioned Origins once.
And I'm pretty sure the guy that's talking, he didn't even define what woke is. Correct?
He has not.
But
Oh,
he's not describing why the game has always been woke, like the first game or even Dragon Age 2. He's talking about Veilguard and Inquisition, the
Yes.
third and fourth games.
Why do we keep watching videos where people make terrible points about
Because
things
they're
they don't know
everywhere.
anything about?
Because they're
They're
everywhere.
memeing.
They're
They're
everywhere.
memeing. They're not being serious. They're just doing it for clicks. They're not doing it.
Well, he's certainly making money doing it. That's for sure.
Uh,
He's got a lot of subs for some reason.
elephant in the room as well.
I don't
See,
know why. I couldn't tell you
not
why.
all the content creators talking about this upcoming game are doing a bad job. Not all of them, for
Whatever.
example, are
Not all of
obviously
them,
pushing
but you are
right-wing
doing a
talking
bad
points
job.
about minorities. There are a couple channels, such as Mortismal Gaming and Kayla Elizabeth, who I think have
I don't know who
produced
that is.
critical but sincere
Weird, though.
perspectives on the game,
Yeah,
talking about what they
They're
thought
critical,
worked and
yeah.
what they thought
yeah,
didn't.
well, the thing about those guys is that they are not hard enough on bad games. They are just like these kinds of guys who go real easy on terrible shit. At worst, they'll
Right.
give a bad game like a 5 or something.
Right.
Anyway,
They're the centrists of
yes.
discourse.
They're the fucking fence. They're fucking fence riders. That's what they are,
Mhm.
as Paws would call them. Anyway.
I don't watch that much of Kayla Elizabeth's content, but I've seen her stuff around in BioWare fan spaces online.
Oh, but
and
you
I watch
sure like
Mortismal
Asmongold enough to know about what he's saying.
Gaming often to understand how to be less awful at pillars of
He
eternity
made,
or
he
path.
made a point about Asmongold earlier that he didn't really exactly make the point, but he was talking about what Asmongold was saying. He was like, he showed a clip of him talking for like 5 minutes and then said, "Now I don't know if you understood what he was. What did he say? What did he say?" Joey?
I really don't care.
I don't know what he said. He said, "I don't know what he was." Yeah.
Basically he said something really concise, but
Yeah.
Jerry was acting like he said like confusing bullshit.
Yeah, but it made perfect sense. And then
Yes.
he said, I don't know. You're gonna have to watch I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video.
Tavon, you're gonna have to go back and watch this when we upload it to YouTube.
No, Joey, I will. I'll watch this.
Alright,
I'll watch
good.
this.
Me too. You're gonna want to send it to me as well, or it's
Alright.
probably gonna be it'll be in the notifications in here. You'll
Anyway,
see it. but,
moving
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Mortismal Gaming often to understand how to be less awful at Pillars of Eternity or Pathfinder, two game series I got into by checking out his reviews in the first place. Of course, because these content creators gave at least largely positive reviews of the game or recommended it at all, people have started running around accusing them of lying or being paid off, which is a very normal way to talk to people who liked a game you
It
didn't
was
on the
proven
internet.
that they were being paid off.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter
Can I
if
just
it's
say something
gaming.
real quick?
It's not just gaming. Yes.
Can I just say something real quick? People just want to play video games. We don't want to hear about the philosophy and the politics of this. We just want to
See,
play video
that's-
games.
We
see if
don't
it's
care
see if
about
the
the
story's trash.
themes.
No,
No, but I'm
it's
saying
not even that. Politics can be done well. Always look at Fallout New Vegas. Politics can be done well. What people don't care about is listening to the politics of a Starbucks in California by people who are so uninteresting that if they spoke for more than 30 minutes, the entire audience would have committed suicide.
Can I ask?
Like
Can I
what
say
Pup
something
did.
about? Can I expand on what you just said? I'm gonna expand on it. Okay, thank you. I live in Colorado right now. I don't care about what's going on in Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan right now unless it comes over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not gonna matter to me unless I'm affected somehow. Like it's not gonna matter unless it's something like the lab leak or if that's even true. Like I'm not gonna say the word, but you know,
Go unfiltered, Noah. I don't care.
no, because your video will be muted if I say that word.
Oh, sure
Remember?
it will. Sure it will. Go ahead, Noah.
They'll mute it. I'm not gonna say it. I don't
You
want your
know
video
you
to get
want
muted.
to.
No, I'm not gonna let them mute your video.
Alright,
I know what
fine.
you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, and
Because it
and
happened
it
over
probably
there, but
was
it
a lab
spread
leak,
through
to be
the air
honest.
and then came over here. But
Alright.
that's not the case with a war in Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever's happening in Gaza right now, or any part of the Middle East, or any part of China or Indonesia, India, anywhere in that side of the world. I'm not affected if there's a fire in Israel and that fire is only in Israel, contained there, and they put it out, but there were some people that died. And like, I won't care because I'm in Colorado right now.
Yeah, don't say that, Noah. Don't say that, Noah, because that I
I
know what
like
you're
Israel.
saying, but don't.
I don't even.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, I'm Jewish. Don't get me
No,
wrong, but you know
no,
what I mean.
no, don't. I know what you mean, but don't say that, no, because those are still people. But I understand what you
They're
mean. I get the
people.
point.
Yes, they died. I will feel bad for 5 minutes, but I won't feel bad because my family is not there and they're not dead. You know what I mean? Like I feel bad for a few minutes. I'm not gonna sympathize with them all day and all night, worrying about the ins and outs of the philosophy of Israel being in a fire because I don't care. I just
Right,
want to play fucking video games. You know what I mean?
Well,
right.
it's like with me.
I
I
agree.
live in a backwater town in the UK. I have
Yeah.
no interest in anything that happens in the world. If there's a shooting in Minnesota, it doesn't bother me
Yeah.
because I'm not there. If you
Yes.
know what I mean?
That's what I'm
It's a,
saying.
it's
I mind like I care to an extent, but I don't
yeah,
care
but
if it's not somewhere nearby me where I can be killed or
you
affected in
you
some way.
care. You here's the thing. You care for the 5 minutes in which you were informed of the situation,
That's what I just
and
said. I
then
just said
you
5 minutes. I said I
continue
care
with
for
your
5
life.
minutes. Yes, I care to an extent, but at the end of the day, I don't live there. I live here, and the philosophy of video games is not something I want to talk about forever. I just want to talk about the game itself and not like the like the why it's this way or that way or the underlying whatever of the game.
No, but
I just want to I
yeah,
just
but
want to play the game and talk about it with my friends and say how much fun it was to do this or that, not complain about it because I don't like it.
but some games are very like deep, like Fallout, like he said, or like
And that's
Far
okay, and
Cry.
that's why it's okay to talk about these things in those exceptional exceptions. But
Right.
I don't really
Yeah,
give a
I
flying
think
fuck about the philosophy of why Dragon Age has always been a woke franchise because
no.
number one, it hasn't, and he hasn't proven it yet still. But
Yeah,
you know
see,
what I mean.
that's the thing. This discourse here is
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind talking about how Dragon Age has always been woke because you can bring up evidence
You
and
can talk about it, but if there's no
counterpoints.
evidence, then yeah, you're
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
exactly. But he's
it's
not done
pandering.
anything to prove it
He hasn't.
at
He's just
all.
talking about. He talked about paintings 5 minutes ago from the 1970s. And
Anyway.
Not
tried
only
to say
that,
that the documentary they were talking about the paintings was making a point about wokeness, but wokeness didn't exist until like 11 years ago,
Well,
or at least
well,
the
well,
current state of
well, well,
current state
well,
of wokeness. Yeah.
Set Tavon
well.
off.
The
Wait.
current state of what woke means
Wait.
nowadays didn't. Yeah.
The current state of wokeness didn't exist for at least 10 years ago. Correct? That's
It was a
fair.
word then, but it
So
didn't mean
the
anything like what it means now. We were
right,
saying this
but
before you joined.
the original definition of it is
Yeah.
just being aware to social issues. That's all
Yes.
the original
I
definition
call
is.
that being awake in this era. Being awake. in this era. That is what it
Right.
means.
That's
Which
all
is like
that.
the opposite.
That's
It's like the
A
opposite of what it means
distinction
now.
without a
Crazy.
difference, Noah. Anyway.
Okay.
right. Go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't. It means
Let's
the opposite.
continue
of
with
that.
Right.
the video.
Right. Right.
Minded.
Or you
Argument
liked
he's
a
making.
game you didn't play, but somebody you followed didn't like. There's also small content creators who make videos pushing back on the way right-wingers seem to infiltrate fandom culture, like
Yeah.
TTBN Gaming, who has
Never
covered
heard
the
of them.
situation pertaining to Dragon Age
Me
the
neither.
Veilguard a couple times.
Idiocy
I was
surrounding
watching one of
Dragon Age
his
the Veilguard.
videos and left a comment
Sounds like a
talking
good video.
about
We should watch
how
it
all this
sometime.
Probably. Oh, hang on. Chariot left a fucking ear. Thanks for this. I was honestly gonna let this stuff go because it's yet another cycle of anti-woke creators spreading baseless misinfo on the back of bigotry, but the misinfo is so egregious this time that I had to order the game and start recording video essays about it. As a Dragon Age fan, watching the lying has been horrific. As a creator, the toxicity has been depressing. Aw, Pookie. But as a transgender person, aka an insane person, who is both, it's insane. All these anti-woke hucksters do is see something vaguely LGBT, then smirk into the camera and shake their head while making some vague comment about modern audiences and agendas. It's one-to-one identical with how homophobes behaved in the 2000s. They're taking members of vulnerable
Oh my
minority
goodness.
groups and spreading negativity about them for
No.
cheap clicks. It's
Oh
so
my God.
sickening to watch.
This is
You know
so
what this-
stupid.
No, no,
This is
no.
Cry
so-
about it.
Well, I said this is he's projecting earlier, and now I
Yes.
know he is. I don't
Yes.
just think he is.
You know
I
what
don't
this is
project
like?
him because I did not behave like
Just
this in
cry
the
about
early
it, Dean, you're right.
2000s.
Go on, Tip.
You know what this is like? This is like in the early 2000s you couldn't make certain jokes in media, but now you couldn't make certain jokes in media that you could in the early 2000s or whatever
but now
time
you
period
can say
before.
the hard R on Twitter.
But now you can do it. Like
Yeah.
this whole video, I wasn't even here for this whole video, and this whole video has been a waste of time. I know for the other three people in here.
Yes.
This is complete waste of
There-
time.
This
there
video
was
is so
another
bad,
person-
Luck Pup died of cringe.
I was gonna say Luck Pup was in here earlier. I don't know if you know them, Tavon, but they were in here for like a while, and then like half the video ago, they left because like it was boring and pointless, and I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, anyway.
Of course,
And
have
it took
convinced
us an
me.
hour. It took us 2
I'm
hours to
only
get
here
30
because
minutes into the video. or
work
30
rang
minutes
me a
through.
couple of hours ago saying they don't need me tomorrow morning, so...
Cool. Fucking cool.
Bro,
Anyway.
it took us 2 hours to get through 30 minutes and 15 seconds of this nonsensical bullshit.
Fuck! Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning over here, and I'm still
It's 8 at
waiting.
night. It's 8 at night where I am.
What
But
time
I'm still
is...
waiting for
It's fucking
any information
9
on why
for
Dragon Age is
me.
woke.
Oh, Christ.
Check out and
Wait,
review
I
the
thought
game
you were 1 hour behind me, not in front of me. Never mind.
Whatever.
myself, despite the fact
whatever.
that I would need to upgrade my lo-fi setup in order to do so.
Oh, I
I don't-
hate your fucking lo-fi music. Please turn it off. Please turn some Theory of a Dead Man on.
I usually talk about comment sections in my videos, but I feel the need to here, because something weird happened.
Oh yeah?
I got a reply to my comment recommending
Watch
that
Skill Up's review. He's normally very variable to games. Everything came true. It looks very bad. I do not talk about the LGBT stuff. The game is bad. Yeah, that's.
I watch a creator
Yeah, of course you
Yeah,
disliked
that's
the.
alright.
Of course you disliked the based man.
called Skill Up, and his
It's
review.
it's not even that. He dislikes someone going, oh, just have a look at this video. It might change your mind. It might not. Oh, I'm disliking that. Right?
You
They
can't
call us
even
the
dislike
ignorant
on
ones.
YouTube anyway. I don't know what the point of pressing the dislike button was because
The
they kind of
dislike button
removed
is.
it.
The dislike button is virtually useless at this point.
It is
It seems
useless.
like he's made-
There's no. It's
Yeah,
just to
unless
show
you
that
get the
don't-
extent. Hang
it-
on,
it-
hang on.
I think he just did it to take the picture
Unless
of it.
you
to show
get
that
the
he did it.
extension like I do, it's useless.
I have
Anyway.
it. I
Okay,
have
good,
it. I have
good,
this well.
Good.
a few videos about the Veilguard, including discussing it with other creators.
Oh, Mr. Maddie's plays. He's a shill.
I mostly felt like what he
No,
had
well,
to
didn't
say
he
was
get screwed over by BioWare as well?
Yes.
Oh. Oh wow, that's crazy.
pretty vague.
No,
since the only-
I don't think people understand. Every single reviewer got screwed over eventually by BioWare
Yeah.
with everything.
Mm-hmm. Like
Apart from
Mass
the
Effect and
highly,
shit.
politically
Yeah.
ideological ones.
Yeah.
That's what also caused a lot of the arguments, because people are like, oh, I gave it a good review and talked well about it, and they still didn't allow me to have a review copy.
Yeah, they
It's
didn't
like,
give
yeah.
him a beta edition, beta copy, whatever. Yeah.
The thing that would have actually stopped me from trying the game out for myself was if there was confirmation of some major bug or glitch that made it unplayable, or something that game-breaking. It really didn't sway me either way. But he said
wow,
something...
then your standards are really fucking low. It's like, oh, just as long as there's not a game-breaking bug, I'll play it. It's like, goddamn, by that logic, tons of fucking games are excusable to this person. Holy shit.
Okay. I have an example, but
what?
I just want to get through the video.
All right.
Now. Very odd at one point.
The writing is
It's not
frankly...
even a bug. Honestly, I will talk about it. I was playing Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch on the PS3 emulator.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that if you don't get to level 30 before you get to a specific part of the game, if you're not level 30 or higher, you will not be able to continue. You need to restart the story from the beginning in that first game. In that game, that's all I was gonna say. So if you have something to add on to that, go ahead, because I'm just making an example out of it.
Yeah,
well,
really that sounds more like bad design to me than a fucking
It was
glitch.
bad design because when I played it, I got to level 20 and I was there, and I couldn't beat that. I had to restart the entire whole game from the beginning because it just like you can't beat it. There's no way to get past or go around or do anything else. So you have to get past it. You have to be level 30.
Yeah. Anyway.
And by the time you get to that part of the game, basically.
All right. Anyway.
But anyway, moving on with the pointless video.
It lacks any nuance or wit or wisdom. It cannot communicate ideas except to say them aloud to the camera. It manufactures petty, unbelievable tension because it doesn't know how to create anything more real, and it's too scared to ever be truly confronting or dark for fear that it might make the audience uncomfortable. Every interaction between the companions feels like HR is in the room, and every interaction led by the main character, Rook, sounds like he's addressing an under-12 soccer team before a semi-final, or teaching toddlers how to...
Wait, who is he? Is he self-inserting again?
No, this is Skill Up. This is Skill Up's review of the game. This is
Skill Up.
Skill Up.
Oh, he's not talking about a character. He's still talking about Skill Up. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, Skill Up is talking about the game. This is from Skill Up's video.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Yeah, Skill Up did a really good video. We covered it. On Spudcast. In regards to it, and yeah, it does feel like HR's in the room because it was pretty much created by a HR department.
Yes. Yeah.
And when he says,
I don't even know what Skill Up is. Okay, that's
he's a
YouTuber. I
YouTuber.
might subscribe to him.
Right.
I'm gonna subscribe.
Also, I don't think anyone also realised. In Veilguard, Rook always stands with his hands on his hips because it's the
like
only pose
like
they do.
He's Superman, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really annoying. It made Smudge really annoyed seeing it all the time.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, he has him on his hips right there. I can see it.
No, but this is the pose he does in every single cutscene.
Every fucking cutscene.
And
wait, don't they have motion capture nowadays for this kind of game? Yeah. Okay.
Also, can I just make a point? In this scene right here,
go on. Yeah.
Sorry, in the scene right here, the argument that's happening is Emmerich wants to bring some books on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So someone actually stood there in every clip scene with the motion capture and like put their hands on their hips in every cutscene for this character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just pointing out the obviously with the dialogue. This whole scene is about a camping trip that they're going on during the end of the world.
Yeah.
And they're arguing because Emmerich wants to bring some books along.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is. What's the problem?
The problem is that it clashes with the tone of the game. This is arguably the darkest Dragon Age yet, and you have goofy ass fucking conversations between the companions like this. This just clashes with the tone horribly. You know what I'm saying?
I really don't. I don't know, man. It is what it is. What it is.
It's just
no. I'm just saying. When Skill Up's talking about how bad the dialogue is, and he's using this clip to, as evidence of how bad it is.
Can we see it? Yeah, in a minute. Yes. Can we see it in a minute? Can we go over that in a minute and see what he said, what they say in the game?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Alright.
If you do it,
Yeah, this whole
Make your point first.
All right, hang on. Let me look it up here. Hang on.
No, you can keep it. He's probably gonna show it. I mean, okay.
All right, hang on. So hang on.
Why is your history off?
it's because of all those dirty videos.
Veilguard.
Whatever.
Emmerich and Harding. Let me see if I can find it here. There it is. Hang on. Here it is.
Oh, of course we got an ad.
Yep.
I don't understand why you're bringing so many books.
Well, I don't see what your objections are to my taking a canopy.
We're only going for 2 days.
You've hardly brought more than a flask and a bedroll.
I'm gonna be honest. Pause it real quick.
What?
The dialogue does sound really scripted, like they planned the wording out. It doesn't sound like it's off the cuff at all, but just how language happens.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah.
I'm surprised she took the bedroll. I've seen her sleep on roots.
I don't sleep on roots. I sleep amidst the roots. If you do it right, it's like being cradled. A tree hug. Emmerich wants to see more of Ferelden, so we're going camping. But he's treating it like we're going to an academic
end of the fucking world.
thing.
An expedition can have its earthly comforts.
So scripted.
You want to bring a shaving kit in the woods.
My dear Harding, a gentleman is never without a brush and a razor.
The whole point of going to the wilds is to get away from all that. So what if you get muddy and smell a little bad?
One can enjoy the scenery while remembering to bathe.
Until you do what you want. Oh man, okay. Oh wow.
Emmerich, you always look good.
Alright, well, I'm not gonna play the rest of it, but that's basically it. It's basically just like dumbass shit, and it's frankly puerile in this game. So yeah.
I promised Tavon I would stream my video game to him at like 8 o'clock ish to 7:30 to 8, and now it's 8:15.
All right.
Do you think we can end this soon? Can we end it pretty soon?
You guys can go. I think me and Hawk can handle this.
Awesome. All right, I'll see you later, Joey. I'm gonna go in my server with Tavon.
All right, bye guys.
Have fun tearing him to shreds, this guy. All right, bye. Yep. Bye.
There's nothing to tear to shreds.
All right, let me speed this shit up.
Yeah.
Share toys. The way you build relationships with your companions is so woefully outdated. Drawn out quest lines completely divorced from the main plot, starring disposable villains and recycling the same settings, enemies, and bosses you fight elsewhere. The romance system feels equally antiquated, heavily reliant on that "we'll bang, okay" button, even when it doesn't make sense for that to be an option, with no supporting systems behind it to make your romance decisions feel believable or consequential.
I don't want to give you the wrong impression, so let me just say that this comment was just a throwaway remark. But let's consider the larger context. I don't like what he says here, because in the context of Dragon Age, a lot of writing is dialogue writing, which he more or less calls out explicitly. That would be fine, but it's odd that so much of the major focus has been on LGBTQ identities and themes in writing elsewhere.
Where?
That might not seem like it's relevant to the skill up video, but did you hear the part where he brought up human resources? What did he mean by that? He says later,
like, because it's like, oh, you have to write it this way to make sure no one gets fucking offended. What the hell do you think? I mean, come on.
It's so simple what Skill Up's saying.
Yes, it's like, but he's like,
on that it feels like the player character isn't allowed to offend the party characters.
Yes.
And that's fair because interpersonal conflict is a big part of the previous games. But in my experience, this particular phrasing is a common complaint of how works of art will represent sensitive ideas in an overly safe manner, especially in the context of minority identities and struggles, which we already know are a major part of the writing of this game. This type of criticism is a common way of calling out poorly done representation of marginalized people and their associated social issues in a work of art, because the parallel is to a corporate human resources department, which restricts how offensive statements about such groups can be. It's a kind of critique I'm quite familiar with, having had the same thought myself in other situations. I ask again, what did he mean by that? I'm not aware of the identity of Ralph, the individual speaking in that video, so for all I know, he could have some close personal experiences with queer identity, but I don't recall...
What? Wait, okay, so he barely touched on his video, but you still think he's a fucking homophobe. What the hell? Oh my god.
This is just his fucking cry session over people not liking...
Yes, this is what this is! Should I put this on ×2?
No, well, to be honest with you, I'm just listening. I'm still waiting for evidence that Dragon Age was always woke.
We're still waiting, Chariot.
Paul seeing him invoke those either. If this is a cisgender man, much less a heterosexual cisgender man, although again, I can't say, speaking to the approach by a video game towards transgender and other queer issues, implicitly because that's a big part of some of the companion dialogue, then he should come correct. He should have the facts and lay out his reasoning. But the video is remarkably vague on this topic. I'm almost certain that Ralph didn't intend that kind of negativity, because multiple parts of his video are calls.
What do you mean the video's vague?
What do you mean he was?
It's a 40-minute video he did.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, are you this fucking dense in real life? Jesus H. Christ. Jesus H. Lucas.
For the audience to seek out alternative perspectives from people who liked the game, which he probably wouldn't do if he had it out for the developers. But looking at his comment section and thinking about the people who have recommended this video to me, I get a different sense of what they think this review is for. I can only conclude that I understand why he didn't like the game per his stated reasons, but he phrased that comment really weirdly, and this makes it even odder in context to have people use this video as some kind of definitive proof that the game is definitely bad, especially in the context of people like me having real complaints.
Yes, it's bad because it gives the implication that the writers were basically shackled by fucking executive meddlers. That's basically what it was. And even then, I doubt the writing was that much shackled, because for all intents and purposes, this game is what new age BioWare wants to fucking be now. You know what I'm saying, Hawk? How much do you think? How much do you think the writing of this game was meddled by the HR? Because I'm willing to bet not much.
Yeah, I honestly think that the way they made this game is what they view as their vision of Dragon Age. Not what Dragon Age is, but their new version of it. Do you know what I mean?
How I'd put it is that the HR team was also the writing team. Anyway.
About bigotry and how other creators who aren't Ralph are willing to speak about it. After watching, I can say that recommending this scale-up video to somebody as proof that a game they're interested in playing is definitely bad is clearly not the point of the video and shows just how dogmatic a lot of the discourse has become. The reason I brought up that YouTube comment section earlier wasn't just to talk about how I got recommended a
Someone
negative
who misrepresented it, meaning the commenter who misrepresented Skill-Up, not Skill-Up himself, who's entitled to his opinion. All right.
review of the Veilguard by someone who misrepresented
I know he's not entitled to his opinion by Chariot's view. He's a cisgendered homophobe, supposedly.
Something strange about a YouTuber named Mr. Matty Plays as I kept scrolling. I thought that name sounded familiar even though I didn't think I had ever seen a video by the guy.
Hang on, what the hell? Apparently Mr. Matty Plays was leaking Dragon Age Veilguard footage to a legit racist Days Forth review embargo. What the hell?
And yeah, it turns out he's this guy in the upper right-hand corner of the skill-up video I showed earlier. I checked online and saw this weird discussion unfold in real time. The quick version, sources in the bibliography in the description, is that Mr. Matty Plays released a negative review of the Veilguard, but he had created his own custom character that appeared in his footage. A far-right anti-Semitic Twitter account that posts homophobic—
Wait, hold on, what the hell? A far-right Phil LeBlanc. Oh god, motherfucking Brittany Brombacher. Jesus H. Christ, this bitch is a bimbo. Lol, yeah, this is the person that's gonna give you an honest review. She's definitely a gamer, not a paid hack. After having watched Brittany Brombacher and that fucking, like, What's Up Games shit she was on that's not around anymore, thankfully got canceled. Yeah, this bitch is just a paid hack. I guarantee you this bitch had her fucking boyfriend play the games for her. Guarantee I nutted in her fat mom a decade ago.
account that posts homophobic—
Hang on. Who's it? Oh, fucking Paul Tassi. Oh, this dude's a shill for Forbes. We'll warn you right now that shortly after launch, Dragon Age is probably gonna... Okay, You're a fetch.
racial slurs, also posted—
Hang on, what the hell is this thing? I never, so...
also posted footage talking—
A friend of mine has a review copied is extremely disappointed. The voice acting and direction is awful. Gameplay's meh. Probably should cancel pre-orders.
about his supposed reviewer friend who got an earlier copy. And in the footage, you can see the exact same custom character as the one that appears in the Mr. Matty Plays footage. This sparked a big discussion that has culminated—
Other versions to prove the two accounts are the same guy. He changes handle quick.
at time of writing, in the right-wing leaker deactivating and then reactivating to make even more remarks about Jews, all the while leaving Mr. Matty Plays to write about—
Hang on, that is my gameplay. It was never my intention for clips of Dragon Age to get released ahead of the embargo lifting. I had shared these two clips of the game with an editor of mine. It is my understanding these clips were then taken, shared again, and went down the chain to someone far removed from the both of us, who then posted them claiming to be associated with me. I don't know about you, but I think I trust what Maddie says here. I think Chariot's just trying to frame him for no real reason. I think he's just trying to be like, oh, Maddie's a racist by association.
how apparently his editor leaked the footage he sent to them, and somehow it changed hands enough times for a neo-Nazi to get it. I've heard it said that everybody on the planet is connected by 6 degrees of separation, which means presumably you know somebody
This isn't even the whole post. Okay.
who knows somebody 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 who knows a Nazi. However, I think things are a little—
I'm deeply disheartened by the amount of people who believe that this Twitter account was me. I don't expect blind loyalty, yet hurts seeing is how quickly I was thrown under the bus. Yeah.
More tenuous when it comes to trust in business relationships.
Oh wow! Press pause. That's interesting about their gameplay footage they're using. That they've got the default hawk.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, to be fair, Hawk, in Chariot's defense, I never customize the characters of Virus games. I always go with the default. Anyway.
If I trusted somebody with a product that came through...
It's just the fact that it's the default, as in like set mage one. There's a default look.
Yeah, Hawk is the default mage in the Inquisition world state, ain't he?
Yeah, so did this person just insert the default world state? This makes me think when they've not played the first 2 games.
Yeah, this is sus.
Through an NDA in a work setting, I'd be pretty shocked to turn around and find it immediately in the hands of a guy who thinks it's normal to tweet the N-word as a pejorative. I would have some pretty serious questions about who trusted who enough such that this happened. What's going on with gaming communities that these far-right ideologues and hateful bigots are able to attach themselves to these discourses, assuming figures like Skill
And I do assume this based on the information that we have.
Up and Mr. Manyplays really have no intention whatsoever of playing into harmful rhetoric and are just working in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, I think it's a little complicated, but this is a learning experience. Creators like Endymion, or posters like that one weird Twitter racist, posture as real gamers or real fans in order to do 2 things. First, they want to imply that their views are already, and therefore to someone whose moral and social worldview revolves around normality, should be, mainstream within the community. This has the dual benefit of disguising themselves and casting suspicion on those who disagree. They weaponize the biases of bystanders. Second, and this is probably obvious, this rhetorical tactic allows them to weaponize fan identity against outgroups, real or perceived. They targeted gamers. Gamers. It all has that exact tenor. There's a great video by Innuendo Studios in his series The Alt-Right Playbook, the video series that inspired my videos on videos about The Last Jedi, and at one point, he says this.
The adage about bros on the internet is political means anything I disagree with. But it would be more accurate to say here, political means anything on which the community disagrees. For instance, Nazis are bad is an apolitical statement because everyone in the community agrees. It's common sense and therefore neutral. But paradoxically, Nazis are good is also apolitical. Because Nazis are bad is the consensus, Nazis are good must just be an edgy joke. And even if not, the community already believes the opposite, so the statement is harmless, tolerable. However, feminism is good is a political statement because the community hasn't reached a consensus. It is debatable and therefore political, and you should stop talking about it. And making political arguments, no matter how rational, is having an agenda, and having an agenda is ruining the community. Now, it is curious how the things that provoke the most disagreement tend to be whichever ones make white dudes uncomfortable. One of life's great unanswerable mysteries. You can gather where this is going. A community that doesn't tolerate progressivism, but does tolerate Nazism, is going to start collecting Nazis. Nazis whose goal is to drive a wedge between the community and the left. Once the left acknowledges, hey, your community's developing a Nazi problem, the Nazis, who are, remember, trusted apolitical members of the community who might just be kidding about all the Nazi shit, say, did you hear that, guys? Those cultural Marxists just called all of us Nazis. Wedge. Similarly, any community members who say, but Nazis, though, are framed as infiltrators pushing an agenda, even if they've been there longer than the Nazis have. They get the wedge, too. This is how fandoms radicalize. They are built as, yeah, I'll say it, safe spaces for nerds, weebs, and furries, and are told that the left is a threat to their safety. And given a choice between leaving a community that has mattered to him for years and simply adjusting to the community's shifting politics, the assumption is that Gabe will stay. This assumption is right often enough that a lot of fandoms have been colonized.
I don't think it takes an intelligent individual presenting a well-researched documentary series on the coalescence and tactics of a far-right political movement to note just the conspicuous nature of neutral common sense. Conservatives and other right-wing ideologues tend to rely heavily
and no evidence.
Yes.
On intuitive appeals. Like what John Berger says about aesthetics, where conventionally those women are beautiful who are judged beautiful, those acts are moral which are judged to be moral. Right-wingers like to conflate those judgments with reality itself, which is how they get objectivity out of a judgment that is itself objectively, factually grounded in their culture, in their time and place in history. It's good to be suspicious of common sense, not because it's always wrong, but because some pretty awful and manipulative stuff can be snuck into your worldview and your community if you just accept what other people already as a rule themselves accept. You can see in that Innuendo Studios clip exactly how right-wingers manipulate the narrative. They tactically deploy existing community ideas in a manipulative manner to bias people in favor of accepting rhetoric they can exploit and against using other rhetoric that would be inconvenient for them. They then use rhetoric and manipulative phrasing to attempt to sort people into those they can fold into their movement and those to whom they must be opposed. In a few easy-to-teach and easy-to-learn maneuvers, they can shut down opposing progressive ideas and softly float regressive ones to the top of the community's consciousness. All of a sudden, it's normal to call everything CRT, DEI, and woke, even if, when push comes to shove, lots of people seem to have different, highly specific, and frequently mutually incompatible ways of explaining what they mean by that. The trick is that they don't have to explain because they agree in practice, and with a dog whistle, practice is the whole point. There's this funny quote from Lee Atwater, well, not funny haha, but you know what I mean, that people sometimes mention when they talk about dog whistles.
Guy loves the sound of his own voice.
What does any of this mean? Oh my god.
I need to know how Dragon Age has always been woke.
Please,
I
sir,
do not care about your current...
You have 9 minutes left. Explain how the series has always been woke.
Ronald Reagan's presidential campaign, but notably, Reagan helped Barry Goldwater's campaign much earlier, and it was
Does
Goldwater who
Ronald
began to win
Reagan
over the
have to
American
do
South
with
for
any of this?
conservatives. The subsequent conservative Southern strategy to use, among other things, race and racism as a wedge issue between Americans would go on to be the subject of the following quote from Atwater.
You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger.
No, more people.
Oh my god. I don't even know who the hell the nation are.
We're talking about something from 2012 now.
And all that stuff. And you get so abstract now. You're talking about cutting taxes and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites.
These content creators have learned their lessons well from the manufactured discourses handed down from conservative think tanks. They readily tell you all about CRT.
What? It's nobody.
DEI, and ESG, and they rarely even feel the need to tell you how they could
Yeah, of course, this motherfucker hates the critical drinker.
possibly know with evidence that an entertainment company is including minority representation in their video game or television series or movie as the result of some kind of corporate mandated hiring practice, or to get a better rating based on equity in the workplace, or what either of those things would even have to do with minority representation to begin with. Even if they did have something to do with it, and that's a pretty obviously tenuous connection, isn't it weird for these guys to complain about it? Isn't the whole point of
Doesn't EA have some connection to fucking BlackRock?
They all get funded.
Yes, they're all.
What's this? There's been nothing. He's not provided any evidence that Dragon Age Origins was woke, or Dragon Age 2 was woke, or anything. He's not even proved Inquisition's woke.
Oh, bruh.
believing
He's
in
just
capitalism.
bitched about other YouTubers.
It's supposed to be that financial incentives also drive innovation that creates good things, so it shouldn't matter to somebody who thinks capitalism is the best system we could be operating under that companies pursue representation and
Oh my god, capitalism! Jesus Christ!
What the shit?
Right? I am neither the first, nor will I be the last person to note that these reactionary movements take an impulse that could lead people to socialism, to critique of capitalism, and instead get them to redirect their energy at minority groups. This is why they beat the get woke go broke drum, because if they can delude themselves into buying the idea that these things—
Wait a minute, so is he basically saying it's like... Is he basically saying that these anti-woke people are hating fucking minorities because they are afraid they'll get swayed to socialism? What? What?
I don't even know what this person's on about now.
aren't profitable, then they can preserve their image of capitalism and still redirect that negative hatred at minorities. Of course, that implies some agenda to do with minorities is making companies lose money for the sake of marginalized groups, which calls into question what group they assume is pulling the strings to inject a covert agenda into corporate products for sinister purposes against financial incentives. Guys who believe all that stuff are exactly one step away from asking the Jewish question. Where do you think all these neo-Nazis come from? A channel called The Critical Drinker has an answer for this. I'd like to do a whole separate video on this guy in full because the facts are even stranger than I could ever paint them as being here. But the truth is that his rhetoric is an important piece of this puzzle. The title of that Asmongold video isn't a coincidence, and neither is the fact that this phrase appears in comments on Dragon Age the Veilguard videos. These guys can't stop talking about the modern audience. Who is the modern audience?
Well, it's fucking marketing speak, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Fucking
they talk about the modern audience because it doesn't exist.
Yes, the drinker video you pulled up is literally called, hang on, here it is. Is literally called The Myth of the Modern Audience, you fucking idiot. Ugh. Oh my god. It's like, bruh, are you just this fucking dense? Are you just like hopelessly are you just like fucking catching up like right now? Jesus H. Lucas.
Put it as simply and as straightforwardly as possible, the modern audience is a hypothetical, a group of people that the drinker and many others who use this phrase posit as non-existent.
No, it's also marketing speak that real-world companies have used for a while. It's like, we hope that this game will, we're updating this for a modern audience. Are you legit telling me you've never heard a fucking, a fucking PR person say that shit? Get the fuck out of here.
The modern audience is a myth, they would argue, held onto by delusional corporations who don't know that by going woke, they'll be going broke. At least, that's what a lot of these guys think. What this does is present the previously explained contradictions in the beliefs of the people spouting off about DEI and ESG while also saying, get woke, go broke, in clear ideological terms. It's the missing piece of the puzzle. Somebody is influencing these corporations to go against their incentives by deluding them with some kind of ideological fiction, or so figures like the drinker would have you believe. If you're familiar with the steps to this dance, you probably saw this coming, but of course, the modern audience is to the aforementioned contradiction in anti-woke belief as the myth of cultural Bolshevism or cultural Marxism was to the Jewish question itself, an ideological
Jewish? What?
delusion projected by an otherwise pure and neutral system, supposedly, by some interfering baddies, to manipulate it in favor of the minorities. These guys are not beating the Nazi allegations. And now we're getting so abstract. But instead of moving away from issues focused on minority groups, we've made them impenetrable. Maybe some of the people shouting about DEI and modern audiences and wokeness don't know what they're doing. Maybe. But clearly many do. And in the end, the intentions of the actor only make up a certain percentage of the effect of the act. The lion's share of a punch is not where the fist was intended to arc, but rather where it lands and how hard. And this rhetoric does affect members of vulnerable groups. We've reached a point where the quote-unquote neutral position for a lot of
video just dead.
I'm dead inside from this video.
Is a suspicion
He's got 4 minutes to provide a shred of evidence that the series is woke.
Please, any more beyond Zevran and Leliana in Origins and Kremf and all of Inquisition.
Groups in a special, which is itself definitionally bigoted, but also a suspicion of any attempt to call out bigotry. People will say that it's because pejoratives for bigots and bigotry have become overused, like a sort of boy who cried wolf.
Yes.
But the boy in that story dies. He gets eaten, at least in most versions I heard growing up. And so when
What fucking versions of the story did you read growing up? Jesus H. Lucas.
somebody makes that comparison, they're not actually saying they don't believe there is any bigotry at all, at least not necessarily, but rather that they feel they have a good enough cause to write the claims off and be damned the consequences. It's about as close to I don't care if you get hate crimed as any of those dudes will go without saying as much. It also, quite conspicuously, does not resolve the issue of their equal suspicion for advocacy for equity for members of marginalized groups. It's never wokeness when it's time for cisgender straight white men to talk about how they feel put upon, even though by all metrics they've described a perceived injustice, a supposed marginalization by any other name. Chalk that up to another obvious case of inequity. The deal with discourse about oppression is
When the hell has people ever said that, like, oh, just like talking about like how you feel like you're being screwed over by the world is woke? What the hell? It's like, dude, it's not that we think like for example, black people whining about racism is woke. No, it's like we're just fucking tired of hearing about it. You know what I'm saying, Hawk? It's like we can only listen to it so much before we just get sick of it, want you to shut up and go away. Ugh.
I can only watch every single IP that's ever existed be 2024 California so many times.
Yeah.
Before I'm just like, I'm bored of this. I don't want this anymore.
is that marginalized groups are marginalized even in conversations about their own demographic, unless we actively correct in the opposite direction. Any real instance of marginalization is oppressive and unjust without that active correction. But an active correction is an imposition. You have an agenda. You made it political. But what else could you do? You can't be neutral on a moving train. If you are neutral in a situation of injustice, you've chosen the side of the oppressor. Hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm always told...
Holy shit.
No!
No! It's... Oh my god. Oh my...
He provided nothing, absolutely nothing, to prove that Dragon Age was always woke. Wow. What a waste. What a waste of 50 minutes.
That I'm supposed to ask you guys to...
I wouldn't make my worst enemy watch that video.
It feels like it just completely pollutes the impactful end of a video if I feel like I've got a really nice note that I want to end on. But I am going to say something here because I have been writing videos about Dragon Age a lot lately. Like ever since May of 2024, I've been uploading a new...
Really? Oh my god.
I don't think this person has ever played the first 2 games or the DLC.
No.
I think they played Inquisition, jerked off to it, and then that's been it.
Hawk, I am so sorry I wasted your time with this bullshit.
No, it's... I was hoping, I was expecting some sort of actual argument on why it was woke. I wasn't expecting just to listen to some thing bitch about other YouTubers for 50 minutes.
You've done a fucking authentic job at Chariot. Well, anyways, Hawk, thank you so much for sticking with me on this. And thanks for
Wow.
like you've proved you haven't. We didn't die of cringe. At least the 2 of us didn't. So if you guys at home didn't die of cringe, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below with the video. Subscribe if you want more videos like this, and we'll see you guys next time in the backseat. Take care.
Bye.